Okay.
Just audited.
Ready?
We're ready.
I'm in the right spot? I guess I am. Is there a marker there? Good. I'm Steve Sanders. I'm a chiropractor in the Fort Worth area, and I know several of these guys from the Fort Worth area, and then now Craig. And I've been in Winner's Edge since January 2020. I started talking to Tori December 2019. And when I started Winner's Edge, it was literally right when COVID happened. So all of these seminars had to go Zoom. There was just like no gathering of big people in that time. So I had phone calls, emails, seminars, and then my first actual live seminar with Tori was October 2020 at a boot camp. It was the first thing that he could pull off, skirt around the authorities and have something live with a bunch of people. So I showed up and he didn't know, and I walked in and I had hair down to here, long hair, and he kind of shocked, like, oh. And the story behind that was I always had short hair like this, and then I started practicing in 2010 and started out right into an associateship. And then in 2011, we had a verbal agreement that I was going to take over this satellite office that I had started running. Owner wasn't there, it was just me running it. And fast forward to 2017, I'm still an associate, nothing's happened, it's not going anywhere like I thought, and started getting antsy. And then I think it was 2018, I made an ultimatum with myself. I'm just not cutting my hair until I'm an owner. So I buy this practice or I go off on my own. And then 2 years later, 2020, I've still got hair down to here at that point. And then with Tori's help and some very tough, direct love and push, got me out of that mess that I'd gotten into. And I just left, started from scratch, and started a new practice in December 13, 2021. And now I've had 3 years there. And when I signed the lease, cut the hair. So.
Yeah, he had that long hair, and he had a suit on with cowboy boots. And it was an interesting assessment I was making in my mind. What else, Steve?
And then since 2020, January when I started, it's been great. It's an incredible group that's in program that keeps evolving and growing and expanding, and I feel like I can never outgrow it. New people come in that then blow me out of the water because they start out as school or fresh with Tori, and they just crank because they don't have 10, 12 years of bad habits and doing things inferior ways and bad systems. So it's been great. And then I wanted to share with you quickly 10 or so of my favorite Winner's Edge principles or concepts. I'll use this one here. I'm a lefty, so I guess I should write this way. I don't know. You always stand over here. Number one, the orange cards. I have, at this point, 37 of them, and I'm on 38 and 39 right now in yellow cards. There's orange cards and yellow cards, and I laminate and save my yellow cards and do that. So an orange card, that is a goal-setting device that on the front has your definite sheep aim, your yearly collection goal, and on the back, your love, health, career, money. Your whole life put into goals. At each seminar, we make a new one at the main seminars, and then I usually steal 2 or 3 extra, and then I refine and upgrade those along the way, especially in growth mode when I was crushing all those records when I first started out. So orange cards, if you use them right, read them out loud. I have all of these recorded into my phone, and I listen to them first thing in the morning, first thing at night. And then my trigger to read them out loud is when I get in my car. It's, you're alone, it's okay, you can read it out loud. And they're incredibly valuable. It's really fun to go back and look at 2020, 2021, and look at what I've written down, the goals, and just go, wow. It's very powerful. Number 2, the money flow systems. automated systems, auto giving, auto debt elimination, and automatic saving. Auto saving every week. When I first got with Tori, I hadn't touched my student loans. I hadn't even looked at them since right after I graduated, and you set it up where it gets automated. You know, it's going to go for 25 years, and it goes every month, and you know, whatever, and it's just, that was it. I just saw it come out of my account, didn't know. Read the money book in 2019, December, when I first started connecting with Tori, and I was like, oh my gosh, looked at it and was pissed off, like, what the heck, how has it been 10 years, and you know, nothing's, it's like all I did was pay a bunch of interest over 10 years, and so with his help, started a debt elimination plan, and once I got into my office and started having a collections, crushed all the student loans in like less than a year, 100 and something thousand. But in that time, even when I had started the auto debt elimination, I call them pipes, but if you may have not seen this yet, but the money flow diagram, you should be able to draw the diagrams, your practice, personal life, everything into a diagram. I started opening up the pipes, laying down the pipes and opening up for practice debt elimination and mortgage. And I had it already set up automated that my mortgage was, it was like $2 or $5 or something a week going towards it. I remember a banker, one of my called me like, hey, we see you have this thing going. We're going to fix it for you. You've got this thing going $5. And I was like, no. I did that on purpose. They're like, what? You know, no. Just trust me. So open up the pipes. It's already there. And at any point I can just turn on the nozzle and flow it. So now that's what I'm doing. That I just 90 seconds, boom, cranked up the mortgage. Now I'm auto eliminating my mortgage debt. Goal setting. In addition to the orange card, there's a lot of other systems we use for goal setting. Your office stats and goal sheets and your bests that you do with your team, and then your personal kind of goal setting, and then what Tori calls the most important day of next year, the New Year's planning in December, where you really go in and create and have diagrams and all the goals and tips and tricks that we do for goal setting. 4, go and do all the events. The group just keeps getting stronger, younger, more powerful. He evolves, everything just keeps growing, and that energy and being around it. I think I've been to 6 boot camps, and then I was thinking about it last night. I'm not sure if I'm sure I have. I don't know if I've missed a single seminar or Zoom or office. I've been to all the office seminars, South Carolina, California, Denver. I don't know if I've missed anything along the way. And it's easy. I'm married, I have 2 kids. Still, it's easy to do. He plans everything out. You have everything laid out like 6 months to a year in advance, so you can easily do everything. Team huddles and the team meetings. Team huddles and team meetings before and after every single shift. Morning before, morning after, afternoon before, afternoon after. A very exact system of a huddle we do with our team. And then once a week a team meeting. It is incredible at organizing, getting everyone on the same page, putting out fires before they happen, and training along the way with staff and team. Having a good team bonus structure to incentivize your staff, team, so they're part of the team and feel like they're not just showing up, and no matter how hard they work or how much they help, they just get the same salary. It's like they're a partner in the firm, and the better everybody does, the more we receive and earn and take home, and time off and all of that. Number 7, all the Winner's Edge, yeah, Winner's Edge affirmations. Almost every thing we do has affirmations built into them in so many ways, and they're incredibly powerful. There's an affirmation booklet. I think of it as reprogramming. I've got to reprogram my subconscious mind, who I am, especially like me, where I had 10, 11, 12 years in practice of inferior systems in practice. And so I've got to keep constantly reprogramming. And on that, lock-ins. Y'all may not be familiar with that yet. That's a powerful way to lock in affirmations. I've got, I think, 10 different lock-ins. What those are is recording things on your recorder, or even programs like Inner Talk, where you're listening to your affirmations, your year collections. We got all kinds of lock-in systems for anything, and you can create your own. This morning, first thing in the morning, boom, the success affirmation, the Winner's Edge success affirmation. First thing I do in the morning, then I'll do like an orange card or maybe a collections goal or something like that. Then at night, go to bed with that lock-in programming me. All the Winner's Edge books. Tori's got all the books he's created and creating, and then the ones he recommends that I never would have ever even heard of or come across in my life. Some of them written over 100 years ago. So my favorites, or the ones I keep on loop: Science of Getting Rich, The Master Key, and Think and Grow Rich. And I have all three on audio right now. If I get in the car and I've burned through all the podcasts, got Master Key just going in the background. And 10, layout. I didn't realize how bad of a layout I was in. And for 10 years of practice, until I learned the Winner's Edge principles, and he helped me design a office that, where I was as an associate with 3 chiropractors, double the square feet, double the staff, and we worked more hours every single day. In my new office, I can produce the same or more by myself, less hours, half the staff, half the square feet, half the overhead, everything, because it's just very smartly and efficiently designed. And there's a million more, but those are just the ones for me that have been my favorite, very valuable. And I know y'all will all benefit in great ways from many, many more. So thank you for all your help.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. And I think those are the same boots those are the same boots he was wearing when we met.
Actually, no. They were ostrich.
He gets more expensive ones.
I got to upgrade down the road.
Okay. Microphone.
Yep.
So you're seeing what, 300 visits a week, 80,000+ a month. That's where he's at in his programming, on his way to be over 100. But of course, he wants to be one of our $200,000 a month PTs, which we've rolled out here in about the last 12 months, because the profession is now due for that. I had to hold off on that for quite a while, but now we have a lot of people that they're ready for that level. And so now we have the plan down to a science for that, and we have a bunch of people jumping all over. I've probably drawn 7 or 8 $200,000 a month offices here in the last 10 or 14 days. Okay, so let me take a quick second here on some of this stuff from Steve. First thing he says, he talks about the orange card. This is one of my many inventions. What I learned a long time ago, when you study people like Earl Nightingale or even the Master Key, the master teachers throughout the ages will disagree on a lot of things, but they will be in complete and unanimous agreement on one thing. You have to have written down goals. Period. A successful human being is a human being with written down goals. Period. Not goals, they're written down. Okay? They are written down goals. And we take it one step further, and I could explain a lot of how it was invented. I do not go anywhere without my written down goals, which is why I never stop growing, because I always have the target in front of me. I never flatline. So since I never flatline, nobody in the group flatlines unless they choose to flatline, you might say. So that, then from another great teacher, Foster Hibbard, and this is a recording that I listened to 30 years ago, and I remember driving to work in probably 1996, and he said this: there's only 4 key areas of life: love, health, career, money. That's it. Love, health, career, and money. Nothing else. Everything fits in those 4 categories. Love, health, career, and money. So when you look on the back of the card to balance out somebody's life, okay, we have your bullet goals for love, health, career, and money built right into the card. And at every seminar we do those. So at every seminar, I make people stay on target. That's why in Winner's Edge you grow, whether you like it or not. Okay? Because if you just show up, I'm going to make you grow because I'm going to make you do stuff that's going to work whether you're in the way or not. Okay? All right? So the orange card concept, okay, and how this was invented was just me writing down my own goals on some orange cardstock paper I had laying around my office and putting it in my wallet. That's what happened. Just me, everything at Winner's Edge is stuff I did for myself, and I finally decided to show a bunch of people all the things that I had invented that hadn't existed before I did it, okay? And that is the biggie, okay? And then, of course, the money flow diagram. This is my invention and my invention alone. I'll go over this today. If you cannot draw your money flow, you will never have any real money flow. It's that simple. If you can't draw the electrical diagram to this place, you can't wire it. Okay? That's simple. Just draw the wiring diagram for this building. I don't know how. Well, then you can't do it. Well, just draw for me your money flow that's going to guarantee you're going to become wealthy in the future. Well, I really don't know. Well, then you won't have any money because you don't know what you're doing. Okay? And it's okay to admit you don't know what you're doing, but we fix all that. Okay? And then we have all these different goal-setting tools that happen along the way, and the biggie is when we go to start a year, we have all the goals for the year broken down to the month and broken down to the week before the year starts. We create the year in December. Okay? If you want to have anything happen in if you don't know what your collection goal is for 2026, you suck. You don't know anything. You're so far behind. It's already halfway through 2025. So you have to know what you want to collect in 26 now, and you already have on the radar what you're going to do in 27. Because if you want to do anything serious, you got to point at that thing early. Okay? All right? Let me zoom you guys in just a little bit more on that. What do you say? Huh? Yeah, we'll just zoom you in just a little bit more maybe. Yeah, let's try that and see if you like that. All right, so we have to have all the goals set way ahead of time. This is hard to do. This is a high-level cognitive function. It's not normal to do this. See, everything in the animal kingdom, they don't think ahead, except for by instinct, the squirrel packs away some nuts, right? But human beings, it is not a normal function to put money away for the future. That is a high-level thing that humans can do, but most humans can't, even though we have the ability to do that, okay? So we have to get our mind and really be thinking about where we want to go, because it's going to happen. Didn't it seem like it was quite a while ago? I said August 22nd, but here it is, and it's live, and we're here, and it's real. I had a good idea. I'm glad you agreed, and here we are, and it's great, okay? Now, if that wouldn't have been planned, even though it was a few months ago, we would not be here. And if you don't plan for what you want to collect in 26 and 27, it's never going to happen, okay? Chiropractors struggle because they're planning, Steve, it doesn't even exist. And they don't know what to do and they don't have the tools, but we have it built into everything we do. You're just going to have it happen whether you like it or not. Okay, and what do we have here, Steve?
Going and doing all.
Oh yeah, just get to stuff, okay? Nobody who wants to win in the Olympics misses practices, okay? Yeah, but this and yeah, but that. You have poor life management, you have poor relationship management, poor self-management, poor self-awareness, poor self-discipline, and you wonder why you don't have any money. You wonder why you don't have time and you don't have anything to brag about, and you wouldn't want anybody to see your numbers behind the scenes if you were exposed, okay? So we want to be the real thing, and you do that by, of course, participating, and the more you can participate, the better, okay? What is this one? Oh, yes. Okay, listen carefully. I'll be brief on this because we got a lot to do today. When we huddle in the morning, this is a 5-minute thing. Your team is sitting there and they have no idea what's going on. You think they know what you know, but they don't, okay? So they only know what you tell them. So you have to call the play for every person before they come in. My gal Katie, she does not want to have somebody come in and not know what to do with them. And it's my fault if she doesn't know because I didn't go over it in the huddle. So in the huddle, I'm going to go over every single name and what's going to happen, and we call it what, Steve? We camp out at the front desk. It's either a clinical issue, put them back there and let's take another x-ray, okay? It's an admin issue, okay, make sure they get another ABN signed, okay? It's a money-related issue. Okay, you got to update their card or they got to do this thing with this attorney. Okay, I'll take care of it, put a note on my thing and I'll make sure I address it with them. I never let them do stuff that makes them feel uncomfortable. I handle all of it. Okay, I don't hide behind, and sit like this and go. Did you get them to start? You know what I mean? They hide behind me. I don't hide behind them. So if they feel uncomfortable or they need anything, I handle all of it. Whatever's hard, I'll just handle it myself, okay? Because I want them to always enjoy being there. So money-related things, sometimes they can fix, sometimes I have to take them to the woodshed myself, okay? And then a promotional thing. Okay, let's give Jimmy some cards to give to the coach, or let's ask about talking in the school. I want to go visit where that person works. I know they work in a place that distributes beer, and I want to get a tour of the place. A promotional element. So everybody has a clinical, an admin, a money, or a promo opportunity. And if I do that, this is what's called working the practice. Tori, what should I do for marketing? Well, I don't know. Do you have any idea what you're doing with your current people? You know, right? And then, of course, the weekly team meeting, 30 minutes. We already have the agenda, and you just follow through with the agenda. We keep it light, we keep it fun, but we stay sharp. Now, as a high-level coaching point now, if we have, say, a new CA, here's how we train. Let's say normally they would have to be there at 8:30, and let's say the huddle is at 9, and you tell people you start at 9:30. But that means, of course, people are going to be pulling on the door at 9:10. So we have the huddle from 9 to 9:05, 9:07, and the door gets unlocked. You've told everybody 9:30, okay? See, here's 9:30 down here, but we know people are going to be coming in here. All right, so of course, we're ready. See, we have a schedule that understands how humanity really works, not make-believe, but how people really operate in mass. And our hours and our scheduling reflect that reality. Like, I go to a chiropractor, oh, he can get you in at 3:45. Is that not the stupidest thing you've ever heard? Here's what I would say. Be here by 6. As long as you're in by 6, everything is fine. Just get here. Get in the door by 6. About 3:45 work, 3:45, 4:15, get here. See, because if you say 3:45, 100% of the time one of you is lying. I'm going to be late, the doctor's going to be late. It's just pure stupid talk. Just like 4 times a week or 3 times a week for 12 weeks. That's all stupid talk. Okay, because chiropractors say it because someone else told them to say it and they never think about how dumb it is. Okay, be here every single day that you can. We have to get these 24 adjustments into your spine as fast as we can. If you had a cut that needed 30 stitches, should we do 1 a week? No, you want to get the 30 stitches in there now. And I want to get those adjustments into your spine to cause the physiological response from the food you eat to rebuild the damaged cells. So of course the tissue will work better, you'll feel better, and your whole life will change. You with me? So be here every day of the week that you can. Well, I can be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Great, see you then. I can only make it Monday and Wednesday. Great, we'll see you then. See that? See how I accommodate them? Be here every day of the week you can. If you say 3 times a week, I'm already thinking, well, I got to go back down to Florida next week, and then I got to do this thing. I'm already figuring a way out. Because you made this rigid thing, which doesn't exist in the world of humanity anymore. Be here every day of the week you can, because that means, well, I could be here 4 days this week, but only 1 next week, and then 2. Great. Get the 24 adjustments into your spine. That's what we have to do. And the sooner we do that, the better. And I'm telling you, most chiropractors are not working on people twice a day enough. You could easily adjust people AM and PM. Easy. 6 hours in between. Okay? Be here this afternoon. We're going to do this now, and if I can hit that again, okay, it'll be great. And if you have an abbreviated schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll see you twice on Wednesday. AM and PM. We'll go boom, boom, and then we'll let your body heal from that, and then I'll see you again on Monday. See that? You should be doing lots of two on Wednesday on anybody new, okay? You're not here Thursday. What if I need to come in again? We'll just see you twice on Wednesday. Can you do that? Of course you can. We just want to go AM and PM. And I'm telling you, it is a superpower. You want to get results with people, boom, boom. In fact, I've thought about chiropractors I like, and I just sit there, and it's going to happen someday, where I've got one in particular. His name is Jason. He's a good friend of mine for a long time. And I tell him all the time, I said, I need to come up here and go to the Motel 6 down the street and check in and get adjusted, bam, 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 like 6 times in 2 days, and then head 45 minutes back to my shop. You get the idea? And it would be life-changing if I did. So, of course, camping out and the huddles, but for team training, if somebody's new, we're going to go 8 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be here a half hour earlier. I'll have a little agenda for what we want to train on before the day starts. And that's an easy way to incorporate some additional training. It could be done in the middle of the day too, but normally the morning is a guaranteed time to get it done. What do we have right here, Steve? Yes, of course. Okay, so I cannot believe, because I see them all the time, the goofy things that chiropractors try to do to bribe their CAs. Now, you have to understand how people operate, okay? And of course, if we're dealing with females, for example, as a CA commonly, we have to understand how the mind operates in that position. And you cannot bribe it, okay? You cannot say, I'll give you this money and then you do this. Let me just tell you how something operates. The females can see if you agree with me on this. This is the way it is, whether you agree with it or not. Consciously, this is how it works. Okay, and it's part of Brifo's law and many other laws on the psychology of humanity. If you give something and you expect something in return, once you did your part of the give, the deal is over. They do not have to do anything in return. When they get their part, the deal is over. It's built into humanity. Okay? All right? And some of you will have had experience with this. I have a ton of experience with this. But that is the way it is. Like if I have someone say, let's say it was a female, Tori, if you give me this, then I'll do that. As soon as that happens, the deal is over. And if you ask for this, you're an asshole. That is the way it is, because you're dealing with a different psychology there, and it's not good or bad, it just is the way it is, okay? So in other words, when we get back to CAs here now, what we want to have to cause true incentivization is it's this, then you get that. Not, here, I'll give you this, and then you do this in return. See, there's no you owe me. There is with guys, but there isn't with females. The human female, there's never a feeling of owing once the part that they receive is received. It's the way it is, and it's okay. It is supposed to be that way. So, the better way to do this, and it's for male or female, I'm just kind of having a little bit of fun here, seeing if I can get the gals in the room riled up a little bit, okay, because I love them so much, is this. Very, very simple, okay, very simple. We can't have a 401k, and we can't have matching and all these other goofy things because we're such a small company. So what we do is this. You want to get to where they get a 1% of the collection bonus every month. That's it. It's a form of profit sharing, and by design, they are supposed to invest all of it over here in VU. Okay? Many of them will. Some of them will do part of it. Some of them will just spend it. It's their choice. But so that way, they feel every single time someone pays, every check that comes in the mail, every time an attorney pays for a PI thing, every time somebody comes in and has an automated payment arrangement, they get part of it. Every tiny thing, they get part of it. If I do like a money Zoom and somebody pays, Katie gets part of that. So does Kayla. Do you get the idea? And so they always then like and want action because there's something in it for them. Okay? All right? Now, it could start depending on, Tori, 1%. Should I start at a 0.5%? Dude, you're collecting $20,000 a month. That's a $100 a month bonus. Who cares? No, of course you're going to start at a full 1% in that case. If you're collecting $140,000 a month, you might start at a 0.5%, and then their bonus is $700, and then go to 3/4, and then go to the full 1%. Okay? When people are starting getting $1,000, $1,400 bonuses every month, okay, they don't want to leave. There's no place they can go, and I reiterate that. How many of your friends get a bonus? Oh yeah, none of them. Okay, yeah, they get their $10 gift card at the end of the year from corporate hell. You get the idea? That's what they get. All right, so of course the winner's edge bonus is it's mathematically perfect, and it works and it stands the test of time. And the only time it starts to not work is if the chiropractor flatlines. Okay, and that can happen, but we don't want that to happen because the chiropractor really should be able to continue to grow like this. Okay, all the way. And the problem is chiropractic has done this, even though the world has done that. Okay, and I might spend a little time on that diagram just to understand where you're at and why you're where you are and how we have to fix this. And every other coaching group is down here too. They're all stuck down here. They should all quit and be here. There's a great clip from the movie The Terminator. And you remember in The Terminator, you had the Terminator guy who came back from the future to get rid of the girl because she was going to have a son that was going to go against the machines. So once they had the technology, they figured they'll just send somebody back and get rid of her. Okay, so the Terminator guy comes back and he chases the girl. Okay, and of course she's terrified of the Terminator, but in the end, good conquers bad, and they end up squishing the Terminator. And so a few years later, and nobody believed her story, so they put her in this institution, but she's in the process of sneaking out. She has a son at that time. And the son discovers all of a sudden the Terminator guy comes back. And the Terminator guy comes back and he goes to the son. But he goes to the son to protect the son. Now, it's a different twist on the plot. So you got the Terminator guy with the son, and they're going to go get mom out of the penitentiary, wherever she is, because they didn't believe her incredible story, even though it was true. Okay, so here's the Terminator guy, and here's the son, and she's sort of a sneaking out of this place, and then the real bad guy that came back to get her is there, and then you got the Terminator guy who came back to keep the bad guy from getting her. But anyway, the bad guy is coming after her. The Terminator guy pops through the opening, okay? And he starts walking toward her, and she sees down this white corridor the Terminator guy, and she is horrified. She falls to the ground. The thoughts in her mind, the neurosis is gigantic, and the son is there, and she's going, what's going to happen? He's going to kill my son. He's going to kill me. And she's going, okay. But what happens? What happens? What does he say? He gets up to her, and she's like trying to crawl back on the linoleum like this to get away, and she's just a deer in headlights, because there's just like no way this could possibly be happening. He reaches down and he says this. He goes, "Come with me if you want to live." And he grabs her hand, and the kid says, "Mom, it's okay. He's here to help us." He says, come with me if you want to live." Okay? And that's how I think. Come with us if you want to live, because there is no chance for you outside the group. There is none. Zero. The resistance is too great. The forces are too great. Okay? You have to have the latest, and you have to have the ammo to punch through and be able to do great things in practice today. And that's one reason why we are where we are. All these affirmations we have all over the place, I'm going to convince you, I'm going to talk you into a whole new belief system. And then what a lock-in procedure is, very quickly. A lock-in procedure, another invention of mine. A lock-in procedure would be something like this. It's a sheet, okay, right, Steve? And I will have on there all of these lines. Usually it's the same thing 3 times, over and over, and there'll be blanks in there. Okay, and it'll be how much you want to collect in the year, how much you want to collect for the month, and it'll be, I am now a $1 million per year consciousness. I am now a $1 million per year consciousness. I am now a $1 million per year consciousness. $1 million a year is easy for me and I deserve it. Collecting $1 million a year is easy for me and I deserve it. Collecting $1 million a year is easy for me and I deserve it. I'm now an $80,000 per month chiropractor. I'm now an $80,000 per month chiropractor, all the way through. And when you read that, I'm going to cake this into your head, and I'm going to make it happen for you. You get the idea? You have to lock it into the subconscious mind. Now, we don't have a lot of time to develop this, even though it's like it's so obvious, okay, that this is how things work, okay? Because here you are, you got a conscious mind, and we have got to take and open up this trapdoor, and we got to cake it in here, because this is what's running your actions, which is bringing your results. Your subconscious, your feelings, your habits, your conditioning, that's what causes every single thing you do, every word that comes out of your mouth, every place you go, every action you take. And that is the only thing that brings results. Thoughts do not bring results. Only action. Cause always equals effect. So we have to get your idea from here, and I got to cake it into here, and I got to reprogram myself, because then my programming will run itself through. So you are, whatever you're collecting right now is because that is the level that you are programmed to, period. And if you flatline, you've gone to the level of your programming. Steve became aware when he got Winner's Edgified of his poor programming, and he began the reprogramming process. And he will continue the reprogramming process, okay? And he will continue the reprogramming process all the way until he takes his last breath, because you never get ahead of the game, okay? You never get there. All right? Many chiropractors, they might be doing well. Oh, I'm collecting 180, or my office just collect 192, or I just did 160. Yeah, so that's a good start. But they compare themselves to these people. What a mistake. What if Michael Phelps compared himself to these people? Okay? No Olympic gold medalist is comparing themselves to these people. Okay? You're comparing yourself to this person here. That's who you compare yourself to. Okay? All right? My $223,000 a month in 2005, that's $340,000 a month today. There, compare to that. You don't have to. I can explain exactly how that was done, and I can explain exactly how you can do that right now from an empty space. I'll draw the floor plan, all the systems, all the procedures, all the hours, all the fees, all the initial plans, all the wellness plans, all the money flow, all the staff, all the pays, the whole thing. I can shake it out of my sleeve. It's ridiculously easy for me. It's just a matter of having a human being whose mind, okay, can drive a race car that can go that fast. Okay, what do we have over here? Oh, the lock-ins, and then the books. Yes, of course. Here are the 5 most important books ever written for the success-minded chiropractor. Are You the Doctor? Doctor by Barge? That's the #1 book. And then 1001 Ways to Attract New Patients by Fernandez. That's the 2nd most important book ever. And then my Ultimate Chiro Success Guide is the 3rd most important book ever. Then the 4th one is How to Become a $1 Million a Year Practitioner by Fernandez. And the 5th one is going to be the Money Book by me. Okay. And then the 6th one is going to be something like probably one of the Foster Hibbards. And then we're going to have The Science of Getting Rich. And we're going to get into some of these success books. Okay, and then we'll probably have Life Without Fear. But these are the biggies right here. And like Steve was saying, nobody even knows that these books exist because they don't until I resurrected them because they were gone forever, which is really, really sad. Okay? So anyway, and we have all of them. In fact, if you look at the Winner's Edge website, in the Winner's Edge store, we have every one of these key books now. I've redone both of the Fernandez books. I've redone all 3 of the Foster Hibbard books. And of course, we have our books in there too. All right? So I always wanted to just have a one-stop shop where all the books that are important you have right there, and you can utilize those and get those, and of course they're not expensive, but most of the books I just give to people for free. In fact, we have 20 more cases of those books coming, the Success Guide, and I'll give them away. So I've given away 20,000 books. Never before. Nobody would ever think of that. Nobody would ever think of it. They wouldn't think of writing a book that was any good, let alone I'm just going to give away thousands and thousands of them. Okay? And I got to print them, and I got to ship them, and they weigh a ton. To ship every box is $70, and I've shipped hundreds of boxes. Get the idea? And I'm not stopping. I will distribute them anywhere to anybody in any quantity for free forever. Okay? Where did I learn that? I learned that from the great Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale in 1955 made the most important success recording ever. 31 minutes. The only spoken word ever to earn a gold record, okay? And what is the name of that recording? Steve will know. Yes, The World's Strangest Secret, or I'd like to tell you about the strangest secret in the world, okay? And in there, he had a thing before he died that anybody could call up his company, Nightingale Conant, Earl Nightingale, okay? And they could get a free cassette or a free CD of that recording. Now, of course, it's free on YouTube. But he said, that is my legacy. Anybody who wants it will get it for free for eternity. And of course, now it's free on YouTube. And his 12-minute audio on attitude, again, it's the best recording ever on this most vital topic because your success is hanging on your attitude. Okay, I'm always shocked because in our data sheet that people fill out, I list all these names, Nightingale, Proctor, whoever, and I'm always amazed how some people say, I don't know any of those people. The most important success teach. So you have to learn, you have to think like a successful person. You have to, like in the Money Zoom, I get people, I try to get them to change from thinking like a poor person to a rich person. Okay? And there's a completely different way of thinking, and I want to get people into that way of thinking. Okay, then of course the office layout and all of our office designs, okay? Which are, you know, I mean, it's just, I don't like to talk that way, okay? But it's like Frank Lloyd Wright, the great genius architect, okay? Who in here doesn't know who Frank Lloyd Wright is? It's okay if you don't. Don't know? Can't picture anything that he did? Got your phone handy? Type in, go ahead, type in falling water house. Just tell me what you think that looks like. And I want you to realize when you look at this, that was built in 1939 when a house was a white box with a little porch out front, okay? Just take a look at that. She's looking up Falling Water House by the great Frank Lloyd Wright. Is that not unbelievable? Brad Pitt says, when I saw that house, I cried. I came around the trees and I saw it, I wept, because it was so unbelievable. Now, what he did there, and I can tell the entire story, there's three very important Frank Lloyd Wright stories. But what was so amazing about that house, of many things, is this family that owned this clothing store that made some money and they wanted to build a house, and they had this little chunk of land with this little stream, and there was this rock, and they would put their picnic stuff up on this rock, and they'd piddle around in the little calm area at the bottom of the little waterfall. And what Frank Lloyd Wright did that blew everybody away, along with everything you see there, is he built the house on the rock itself. Not over here where you could sit and look at the little waterfall. He built it like this, so when you stand on the decks, you're looking down the waterfall at an angle that nobody ever would have thought of. And he built a little stairwell that went down to the area with a platform where they could stop and sit there and like take their shoes off and get right in the water from this set of stairs that went down to the level of the water. And everybody just went. And of course, it's a historic monument. It's second only to Elvis's house and the White House for being the most important homes in the United States. Frank Lloyd Wright designed the most important and the most impressive interior space that's ever been designed. Look this up, Johnson Wax Building. Johnson Wax, S.C. Johnson in Racine, Wisconsin, had money, and they wanted to build a new headquarters, and so they called the genius himself, Frank Lloyd Wright, and he designs and has, I want you to look at the interior of it, okay? Take a second. See that? It's like you're underwater and you're under lily pads, and that's all tubular glass that sprays the light so there's no shadows. It was the first ever office building that had it was an open space that blew everybody away. But of course, the technology of the day couldn't handle that type of glass fitting with rain, and so even Johnson himself would have water leaking on his desk, and he'd have to put a garbage can up there, and he didn't care because he was inside this place that was mind-blowing. Okay, you can still go see it to this day. Okay? And there's an incredible story with that. One more. Guggenheim. The Guggenheim Museum in New York City. Frank Lloyd Wright's 90. The Guggenheim family has gobs of money. They want to build a new museum. Who do they call? They call the genius. Okay? And he starts building, and this is the era of glass boxes. And then what does he come up with? Show everybody.
I don't know how to spell that.
G-U-G-G. Guggen, G-U-G-G-E-N-H-E-I-M. Very, very quickly. Okay? Yep. Guggenheim Museum. Okay, and it looks like a big beehive. Let me know when you got it, right? And instead of getting into Frank Lloyd Wright stories, I'll be very, very brief. I'll just say the one that goes along with the Guggenheim. Okay? Got it? Yeah, unbelievable. If you could get your stuff from the Guggenheim, you have made it to the top of the world of artistry. But what happened there is as he was building that, and it was taking time, and they're running out of money, and they're blocking off the road, and people are complaining. And then they would start to get the deal going again, and then they start to run out of money, and it was going longer than expected, and waiting for materials, and the road's being blocked off. It's right next to Central Park. It's a big deal. The whole city's in uproar. And they start to see this round beehive-y looking thing coming out of the ground, and nobody can figure it out because they figure it's going to be another glass box. Okay? And finally, these artists and all these people put an ad in the New York Times. And the article said, Frank Lloyd wrong. Blah, 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 this building, and blah, 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 blah. And they just ripped on him. And so he replies, well, maybe you all would produce better art if you knew it was going to go in my building. And he was right, because he's a genius. Like Salvador Dali, like Nikola Tesla. Even that Johnson Wax building. You know the story on that one, Steve? They start to build the Johnson Wax building in Racine, Wisconsin. It's got these really slender columns that go up to this lily pad that have to hold up the roof. They start seeing it be built, and all of a sudden the inspectors come out in the city and they go, no, those little skinny columns aren't going to be strong enough to hold up the building. And he says, yeah, they are. And they say, no, you got to shut this project down. We got to re-engineer those. Okay? And then they leave. Frank Lloyd Wright says, everybody get back to work. And they come back in a couple of weeks and we told you to stop. We told you to shut this down. Those columns are too slender. They're not going to be strong enough to hold up the weight of the building. They've got to hold up 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. Okay? And so they shut the whole project down again. They got the sheriff there and all the inspectors in the city and the whole 9 yards, and everything's a big stink, okay? And then they leave, and he says, okay, everybody get back to work. They come back out again, okay? And he finally says, enough, enough. And he gets all the news reporters there, all the TV cameras, every single newspaper. He puts up one of his columns with the lily pad, and he gets a crane and he starts putting weight on top of it. 1,000 pounds, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 pounds. And he goes underneath it like this, because he always carried a cane, and he went, just like I said, everything's going to be fine. 12,000 pounds, and it finally comes down. Type in Frank Lloyd Wright, column, weight, something like that. And then you could type in Johnson wax if you wanted to. You'll see a black and white picture of the lily pad with all of these sandbags on top of it. Okay? It's unbelievable. Now, there's a point to me getting on this little sidetrack now. You got that? I'm going to race you. I'm going to race you. I'm going to race you. Hurry up. Frank Lloyd Wright.
It says at least 12 times.
Yeah, but go to images. Go to images. Go to images. There it is. See that? Show everybody. Okay? It's really something. And then, of course, the cool house. There's stories with that, too, but we don't have time. Winner's Edge is a collection of stories, and the lessons from the stories are the foundation of the group and the success of the group. There's the Frank Lloyd Wright stories, there's the Chuck Yeager sound barrier story, the Elvis story, the Raju story, the guy in Australia who ran 650 miles in galoshes story. Of course, there's the Secretariat story. It's a collection of stories, and those stories have the lessons that are the foundation for enormous success for any chiropractor that participates in it, because there's just no way you can't learn from these sorts of things and want to be like that in your own practice. I bring that up because with a lot of these things, that's really the way it is. And so he said at a point, he goes, I had to make a decision to either try to be humble and like fake it, or just be honest and come across as being arrogant. He goes, I just chose honest arrogance, because I'm not going to lie to people. And I'm not going to either. These are all my inventions. They're mine alone. There's nothing else like them. And if you don't have them, you have no chance to do anything impressive. Okay, yeah, you can get to 40 or 60,000 a month, like yay for you. Maybe tip 80 or maybe click over 100 occasionally. But to get there and stay there and then have any money and do this and it's going to take a lot more than what you know. So it takes structured learning, and it's our goal to be really good at delivering that sort of structured training. All right, nice work, Steve. Okay, maybe we should start here. Okay? All right, now, I don't want to even though I have points here, what matters here, and especially all of you out there in Zoom land, is as I want to address something that matters to you, okay, or to you, okay? I don't want you to leave and go, I wish you would have talked about this. I will talk about and show anything you want to see on chiropractic anything, money anything as a chiropractor, okay? System anything, procedure anything, team anything, layout anything, any problem you have, okay? And I will just flat out say it. I am the undisputed authority in all things related to the success within the four walls of a chiropractic office, period. Because I've personally seen to it that I'm at that level. With my audio material, the book material, all the videos, the variety of events, okay? There's nothing more I can do to push and learn to be as useful as I can for you. Okay? And I'm learning too, don't get me wrong, okay? But there are a few things I can probably share with you and help you. So I want to be able to address what matters to you, okay? So, keep that in mind here, all right? Let's do this. I want everybody just to sound off your first name. Okay, Jacob, just go ahead. I'm going to write them down as you say them.
Daniel.
And then we got Dan.
Craig.
And then we got Craig. And
Rich.
then we got Rich.
Dennis.
And we got Dennis, of course.
Sarah.
And there's Sarah with an H?
Yes.
Yes, love the H.
Candace.
And Candace. Oh, beautiful name. Beautiful name. I butchered that. Let's clean that up a little bit. Okay. I butchered that. Okay, and Steve? That it? Okay. So what matters to me is what matters to you and all of you out in Zoom land and anybody who might be watching this recording at a later time. Okay. So I want you to be thinking something here. All right? Who in here is not in practice right now? Is everybody like operating in a chiropractic practice? Yes? Yes? How many years for you? 3. Okay, so watch. We got 3. Dan, how many? 30. Craig? 37. 37's the new 17. Okay? What do you got, Rich? 37. Rich, 37? Rich, you look like you're 29. Whatever, he's been in practice like 6. He's lying to claim to have more experience. Believable. You're gifted. Okay, Dennis. 20. Beautiful. Sarah? 7. Candace? 3. Steve? 15-ish? 14. Okay. All right, so here's a wild thing that's happening. Check this out. Steve's heard me mention this concept from time to time. It's part of my frustration and pain, but I live a very painful life, okay? But nobody feels sorry for me, right, Steve? Right. Okay. If I have someone who's been in practice 3 years, okay, and I'm talking to Candace, it's going to bore him right out of his seat. And if I start talking to Dan, it's going to blow over most people's heads because they're not ready to handle what I'm going to talk about with Dan or Craig or some of these other people who've been around a little while, especially if you're more winner's edge-ified. So it gets hard because I'll have people in the room here and I'll have people in the room here. And it gets to the point where it's almost impossible to do a talk that's useful for everybody unless you water it down and make it a very generic success topic, like talking about the cool Frank Lloyd Wright story, which everybody can enjoy. But that doesn't do anything for your practice. It's just an interesting story that you want to be more like him and be greater at what you do. So I want to try to get specific and have stuff that's specifically useful for you. So let me just do this very quick before we move on. Does anybody have a problem in their office and you think you want a solution for it? And you could name anything. Okay? Jacob? Okay? Sarah? A problem. Like anything. Okay. Number 1. We have to fix whatever needs to be fixed, like i.e. stop the bleeding, okay? And then we need to add whatever needs to be added to grow, and we need to lose whatever needs to be gotten rid of to grow. It really is that simple, okay? We got to fix whatever's screwed up, add what needs to be added, get rid of what needs to be gotten rid of, and there you are, and all of a sudden, champagne falls from the sky, okay? All right, so does anybody have something that they want fixed, okay? It's okay if you can't think of anything. Go ahead, Dan. Flow. Yes. All right, now watch. Dan says the word flow. Okay, so listen everybody, we're going to talk about you're talking about the flow of human beings through the 4 walls of the office. Okay, so we have the flow of people through the chiropractic office. Here again, the lines of communication start to break down. Okay, why? Well, do we have a 2-room corridor or a 3-room corridor? Do we have 4 of these and 3 of those, or just 3 of those? 1 CA, 2 CA, 3 CAs? What? What is it? You see what I mean? Tori, what do I do? Well, what you would do would be different than what I would do if I were there, because you couldn't do what I would do yet, but you're learning. But we're talking about Dan here. So now if we go to this and say, well, what's the problem? What's the problem? You think you have a flow problem? Is there a problem there that needs to be fixed? Or are you just acknowledging and addressing that at a certain point in volume, it can't flow anymore? Like if I have a pipe that's 4 inches and I put as much water through it as possible, there's not a flow problem. That's as much water that can fit through that pipe. You need a bigger pipe. Like you need a different office you need 3,600 square feet. You get the idea? All right. But anyway, did you have something there specifically?
As far as moving from examination to treatment, re-examination, to intersegmental traction. Yeah.
All right, so we got something that looks sort of like, generally like this sort of a thing. And we're going to build that. In other words, I'm just kind of drawing what his office looks like here. Okay. Okay, it's all being hacked up like so. Okay, so let's just go over a few fundamental things. Watch, we're going to be swift with this. There's new patient flow, There is your typical report flow. By the way, I already see this right here. There's the flow right there. See all those little things? That's all the details of the flow of what happens. See that? Right there, like that. See all those? Yeah. That's it. From the second someone looks at your website, what happens? And you need to control what they see, taste, touch, hear, and smell at every single step of every second when they're relating to your office. But to get it into chunky form, we can do it like this. Then we have a regular office visit, then we're going to have a re-exam, and then we're going to get person to continue care in the future. So remember now, in a chiropractic office, you only do 5 things. That's it. So you have to get good at those. And you only do it on 5 people. It's a cash person, it's a Medicare person, it's a PI, it's a work injury, it's someone that may have a little regular insurance. So there's only 5 human beings that come in, and you only do 5 things. See that? Winner's Edge breakdown. And by the way, once you see it that way, you go, okay, that's not that hard to become a master at, because now I got it quantified. I got to make sure I'm a master at all 5 of these plays, not 250 plays like the New England Patriots playbook or the Dallas Cowboys, right? And we only have 5 different human beings that come in. All right? So we make it easy for ourselves. Here's a new patient flow. Okay, and I'll go over this in a little bit more detail, but here's the standard new patient flow. They're going to come in, okay, and the person's going to say, okay, let's start at the beginning here. Before they even come in, they should have already had a video sent to them to watch about how things go in the office. They should already have a video. They make the appointment. What's your email? We're going to send you a quick little video that's going to give you information on what to expect on your first visit. Everybody loves it. It's only a couple minutes long. Okay, that sounds great. Poof, done. Okay, so when they come in, okay, it's going to be, go ahead and fill out this little bit of paperwork and then bring it back up when you're done. That's all that happens then. When they bring it back up is when you say, did you have any insurance you wanted us to check? That never happens until after the paperwork comes up, ever. Otherwise, it sounds like that's what you're there for. See that? If I walk in, this is the medical office. You walk in and they go, what's your insurance? They get your driver's license, and somehow they're already connected to your insurance through that. And even if you tell them not to bill it, they're going to do it anyway because it's pure evil, right? But we don't do that. We just say, oh, it's so great to see you. Here's a couple things for you to fill out. Make sure you do this, 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 and highlight whatever, and make sure you sign there. Bring it back up when you're done. Okay, any questions, let me know. Okay, have a seat right over there. They bring it back up. Oh, beautiful. Oh, make sure you mark on that. Okay, thank you. By the way, was there any insurance you might want us to check on? Okay, great. Have a seat. We'll take you right back in just a second. I know the doctor's looking forward to seeing you. See that? So we have this introduction into the action. Okay? What's going to happen next that's vital? The tour. And it doesn't matter how simple it is. It's the tour. And by the way, once again, things don't work the way you think. You think the tour is like to show them around? No. It's like you think Starbucks is a coffee company. Starbucks is a bank. You understand that? They just sell coffee so they can have people prepay onto a thing and have all that extra money so they can operate as a bank. They're a bank, just like McDonald's is a real estate company, which everybody knows. Do you get the idea? Apple is a luxury brand. It's not about laptops or phones. Things don't work the way you think they work, and you have to learn how to think at a level like that to then participate and practice at that level, okay? The purpose of the tour is for the CA to make a positive endorsement and comment about the DC. That is the purpose of the tour, okay? That's the purpose, and it's very hard to get CAs to do this, but it's vital. It doesn't matter what I say about myself. Now, you hear me make some comments and Tori talking about himself, and I hate to do it, but I'm in a profession where there's no competition to prove where everybody is like there is in sports. So I have to tell people where I fit into the game because they're unable to assess that. I'm standing here, I look like a regular guy. There's nothing normal about me in the universe of chiropractic, okay? Nothing, okay? It looks like it, but I'm not at all, okay? All right? And one of my goals here is to have a body of work that proves it so I don't have to say anything. And I do have the body of work and compare it to anybody else. Just go and look, okay? Join a consulting group, you join whoever has the best books. It's that simple. Whoever has the best books. Okay? All right? So here we are. The purpose, once again, and I'm kind of alluding to a concept here that what matters a lot of times isn't what looks like what matters on the surface. Okay, now, so the tour, it's this. In this office, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be, okay, come on back with me. Here we have our spinal decompression tables, which everybody loves. And then back here we have our intersegmental traction tables, which people love even more. Okay, in fact, we want to go back and sneak ourselves onto these all day long. The bathroom's right here in case you need it. The doctor's office is right there. Now, we're going to have a seat right in here. And I know Dr. Waldrop looks forward to seeing you. You know, he is one of the top chiropractors in this entire part of the country. Okay, so you made a good decision to come in. He'll be right in just a second. There it is. And the single most important thing, if it's a female, is where's the bathroom, and that he's great and he's happy to see me. I'm not in your way today, which people are afraid of. Are you going to care about me? Are you going to give a damn? Are you going to be attentive? You know what I mean? Are you going to give me some attention, attend ion? You're going to place your energy on me, okay? All right, so that's key, all right? He's one of the top chiropractors in the area. I know he looks forward to seeing you. Do you have any idea what that does? Because then she goes home and says, I guess he's one of the top chiropractors in the area. They only know what you tell them. In fact, they know, because they're going to trust her way more than they're going to trust me saying, well, I'm one of the top chiropractors in the area. Well, of course I'm going to say that. Okay? But she's going to have to believe it for her to be able to say it. So then the tour starts, okay? And now they're in position. They should be sitting on the bench. And there should be a bench in the room, not a table like that. That table is gone. These 3 roller tables are gone in favor of the new ones because those things in there are horrible. All those rooms get redone. We add 2 more colors in here. The desk is gone. The desk moves. The shelves get moved. That thing is gone. The door is mirrored. He puts a sign up on the outside of the building so people can actually know that he's a chiropractor for the first time ever. He has a matching sign over on that side. You get the idea? We get the lighting fixed over the top of the therapy table, so he goes to the dual adjusting table setup so we can work on 2 people simultaneously. We put a trap door in there, but it might be too much of a mess with all the electronics, and so there, that's good for, you're welcome. There's another $250,000 a year for the rest of your career. That's another $1 million. It's okay, I'll just take my 10%. Plus 10% of the sale value of your practice when you sell, okay? All right? Okay, now, but by the way, what you have to understand here, even though I'm kind of having fun, but you got to realize that everything matters. I mean, the tiniest thing. That little 3/4 of an inch lip coming into this office, that matters. That is a problem. That's about a $25,000 to $50,000 a year problem. That little edge where those bricks are higher than that step, which by the way would never pass an inspection if the building were built today. That would have to be shaved down with a grinder. You get the idea. In fact, I would have that all redone, and I would have that entry be perfectly smooth. I cannot have anything interfering with people coming in the front door of my place, period, okay? All right? So you have to see, I've even gone to offices, you ready for this? I did this with Molly. I said, this right here, this has to go. You're gonna get a thing, and you're gonna take that 3/8 of an inch thing, get that out of here. That's gone. Okay? And if you really want a project, all of this casing is gonna go, and you're gonna make this a smooth edge. She goes like 50 visits a week. See that right there? That right there. If you see how this door is eating up this space right here? See that? Now, if you get rid of that, you take off the door and get rid of that and walk through it, it will feel completely different. You have to understand that, okay? Let alone if the casing comes out, let alone if we make it this wide, okay? All right? You have to understand that the tiniest things matter, okay? In high-level competition, here, I win a silver medal. There, I win a gold medal. Because if I can go like this, you can shoot your hand through here and grab my elbow and pull me this way, and oh, I'm gone. You score points. But if I'm like this, you can't get under my armpits and hook me and pull me and turn me. See that? And that's what they say. Silver medal, gold medal. This. Okay? All right? And you look at people like the great John Smith, the wrestler at Oklahoma State, you look at his videos. Here he is, just like this. No wonder he's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, okay? He's not going to let his arm wing out here where someone can grab it, okay? Because if I can grab your arm, I've got you, okay? So you have to understand that the things that you don't see are enormous, okay? They're just enormous, okay? And there are a million examples, okay? All right, so it's the tour on the bench, in position, the clipboard goes in the bucket over here. It's adjust, 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 quick review, pop through the trap door, and then he's going to be dressed right, and that's a whole other topic all to itself, and he's going to look in their right eye, and he's going to go with a vertical hand like this, okay? All right, remember now in handshaking, there's a lot going on. If I do this with you, see I'm trying to turn your hand over like that? See, this is strong. This is not strong. See what I'm doing with you? See, I'm trying to play. You don't handle. You go right back to vertical. Take my hand to vertical. Yeah, you're saying to me, don't you do that to me. I know what you're trying to, you see that? You get the idea, someone does this with you, you get here, okay? We're equal, all right? See that? It's very, very important. There's a lot of posturing that happens with the handshake. Okay, watch, I'll do it with you, Dan. I go like, and I go, Dan, it's great to see you. See, you're not having it. Back to straight. Take me straight. Yeah, there we are. Okay, see that? Very important. Okay, right here. We hit. It's so great to see you. And then have a seat, and then away we go. You get the idea? So the handshake is everything. They have made a big determination. Okay, here, I'm going to start care. And they start a little scale. Boy, the CA was really nice. Hey, I got in right away. The paperwork was easy. There's nobody running around and screaming. It doesn't smell in here. I was able to find a decent place to park. This is all going okay so far, okay? I got a little tour. I know where the bathroom is in case I need to go there. Hey, I heard a nice comment about the equipment and about the doctor. Okay, I'm feeling better. I was a little nervous. I'd never been to the chiropractor before. I'd never seen this person before. And then the chiropractor comes in and their handshake. Boom. That's how big it is. They're going to gauge. The gal we hired here at Winner's Edge, she was hired because of her handshake. We could pick anybody, okay? Because we have the money. We can get the 3.9s from the big universities, University of North Dakota, Minnesota, Stout, these universities. We can pick the captain of the soccer team who also got the good grades. We can pick whoever. We're gonna pick the best person we can get. A little bit of in a chiro office, okay? All right, so we bring these people in. We're going to narrow it down to 3 or 4 people, and I had the one that I figured was going to be the winner, and Katie knows it. I said, I think she's going to be it. We'll visit with the other ones just to see. Well, one person came in, their handshake was weak, and here's what I did. You won't even believe this. You have to do this on a job interview. I just grabbed any book that we happen to have laying around, and I said, just read that page. And one gal goes, oh, I really can't read that well. She actually, this is like a 3.9. From like North Dakota State type of thing. Because you can get through school and not have to just like read a page. So her handshake was flimsy and she really couldn't read that well. Next gal comes in and does just like this. And I went, okay, I already like you. This is going good. Read, and she goes, and it was over. So as soon as she left, Katie, she's it. And Katie goes, yeah, she's it. And that was it. We were ready to go. And it's just a matter of training and having her be something special. Kayla, you're listening, aren't you? Talking about how great you are. Give me the peace sign. Okay, all right. And they're working hard on a project right now. That new Foster Hibbert book is arriving, so we're getting ready to send that out next week. We're really excited about that. That will complete that series. And now I'm on to the 1001 Ways book, which is 300 pages. Okay? We'll get that done, and I can get back to doing what I'm supposed to do. See, do you want me focusing on creating a great event for you, or do you want me to sit there editing a book? See that? I want you to think about that. You want me to sit there doing a 2-hour money Zoom privately with somebody, or do you want me to preparing for the upcoming CA training for you guys? Do you get the idea? So I have to get projects done so I can get back to what I'm doing for everybody, all right? But I do those on the side, and we're going to get it done. Okay, so you see that some of the concepts here of precision. The handshake, and he's going to sit, and there's a certain way this is done. Sometimes they're going to stand, and then when you sit, you want your rear end to hit the stool at the same time theirs hits the bench. Because I'm going to start a takeover process. It's almost like I'm going to start to hypnotize them. Okay? I'm going to take over their physiology, and I'm going to strip the authority away from them. So you have to understand, when they come in, they know this much about their problem, and you know nothing. Okay? So I have to strip this and do this. And if I don't do that, then they say I have to go check with my wife. Okay? All right? Because I did not strip the authority. I did not get them to believe that I know what it is, where it is, what it is, how to fix it, x-ray it, talk about it, make a plan for it, and a payment arrangement for it. And it, like for me, is right there. That is it. And if you don't push on that and make me go, ow, I know you don't know where it is. So I'm not going to pay to come and see you because you didn't find it. All of chiropractic revolves around it, and that is the #1 thing that brought the person in. And if you don't touch it and push on it, all the wizardry in the world is going to be very, very difficult for you to get them to start. Okay, and then it's the consult. We're going to touch, and then we're going to go and we're going to explain chiropractic, and then the gown, and you're going to go over and adjust 2, 4, 6, or 8 people. You'll come back in, do the exam, the gown will come off, adjust 2, 4, 6, 8 people. You'll come back in the x-rays, and then you'll go right to the instant report of the problem. You follow the script, the good news, the not so good news. Here's what you came in with. Now, Jim, if you're looking to cover it up, okay, they take a picture of their x-ray, you make them touch the screen, you give them the degeneration charts, you highlight where they are on it, boom, they pop out, they go on the roller table, you go back and keep adjusting, they go through the loop, and off they go. Right? Where's the hang up for you?
There's not.
There really isn't. It's just a matter, this is what it is for Dan. Some of you want to continue to increase volume, okay? But listen carefully. For Dan, it is about the quality of what each person gets on every visit. It's about the concentration of the orange juice, okay, in the system. And here's what I mean. I stop and I buy lemonade from every kid that's selling lemonade on the side of the road. I will go down and make a U-turn and come back. I've been known to go to the ATM if I have no money, okay, and hurry back and hope the kids are there so I can buy their lemonade. I never go by and not buy something from a kid, okay, and I give them way more money. They go, oh, I can't believe it. I go, yeah, keep it, okay, and they give me their lemonade. And notoriously, it's way too concentrated. You get the idea? It's like a half a cup of water, and they needed all the water in there to dissolve. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's what I'm talking about with you. The concentration of the quality of what they get is what has to increase. See, if I do this, that's nothing. But if they walk out with a picture of their x-rays and the degeneration charts, and I highlighted which one is them, the quality just increased. And if they get home and there's a cool little video that explains how chiropractic works, the quality increased. You see that? And if I call them and say, I want to see how you're doing after we started to work on you for the first time, the quality increased. And none of these things take any appreciable time of mine, but the quality increases per unit of time. You see that? The chiropractor gets lazy. Oh, I got some people coming in and I'm paying the bills and it's going okay, and I'll just hope. You have to increase the quality. See, think about what the word quality means, okay? Let's think about just the quality of lemonade. You can get the crappy Crystal Light poison powder, right, and put it in some crappy tap water and not have enough water. You see that? But it's lemonade. Or on the other end, you could sit there and you could squish these organic lemons and get some awesome turbinado sugar from the side of the Himalayas in South America or something like that, right? And you get this perfectly filtered water from a spring 6 blocks away that you brought in. You get the idea? Okay, and you can have these cool cups and the mixture is perfect and you fill it up perfectly and say, here you go, sir. See the difference? The quality. Same kids, same pop-up card table, same $1, same amount of time, same everything. But you see the quality difference? So the Winner's Edge-ified experience has a quality level to it. What they see when they come in, what they hear, okay, what the table feels like, the words, the education, the understanding. There's an increase in the concentration of the quality. And we call it, and by the way, then and only then can you compress quality. See, I can take the time down when the quality goes up. See that? Okay, there's a lot that could be said on that. Okay, just a few things on that. Okay, I'm going to move on here and go through some things, but I just want to say here that I'm going to go until like 11 Central Time. Then I'm going to hang out until noon. And from that 11 to 12, I will answer anything about anything. But until then, let me just go through some stuff, okay? But I just want you to have that in the back of your mind, my local crew here in Saginaw, Texas, okay? All right. Oh, the traffic. Okay. All right, so there are practice problems that everybody has to solve. There's the layout problem, the procedure problem. Okay, here's what I'm getting at. Listen carefully, everybody. In practice, and I noticed in the coaching groups I was with Charlie Ward in '96, and then waiting list practice, and then the Body by God thing, and then they changed to teaching the world about chiropractic. Actually, they started out, then it turned into Maximize Living, but I was gone by that time. I actually was in Pinnacle for a short period of time then, but I realized I was already ahead of everybody, so there was like nothing there. And then I did some Fernandez stuff, and I had some Greg Stanley stuff, and whatever else was going on, right? But in all of these different things that I saw, there were all of these problems. Like, how do you get people into a wellness thing? Or what should the initial plan be? Or what should all my codes and fees be? Or what's the best way to get it set up for me to pay taxes? And of course, nobody ever talked about that, okay, even though it was the biggest problem in the room is money, and nobody ever talks about it except us, okay? There are just all these problems, okay, that there was no solution for. They were just these gaping holes and stuff, okay? And, but I had solutions for these things, like the layout problem, the how to get people to continue into wellness problem, the procedural flow problem, the staff hours, the pay, the team meetings, the huddles, getting all that so it's organized, you don't have any problem there. Handling the debt problem with the rapid fire, which I invented, okay, which we can talk about. The treatment time problem. Like even look at here, when I say to Craig, if he goes and puts a bench and adds another table, do you have any idea what that does? Watch this, ladies. Everybody right now has to kind of hang out here and go in and come out and get adjusted. But let's say you guys came in as friends to get tuned up. You go to the same chiropractor and you both go in together. One sits, well actually if you had the two tables, you both jump on a table. Because I have no problem being on that table relaxing because I know he's just working on you. Okay, and I just get to chill. And then all of a sudden his hands touch my back and it's like, oh, it's so great. Okay, and she gets up and kind of gets herself ready and hangs out for a minute or so. And then we head out and we leave and have a great visit. You see that? So just notice here, it's got this little linear analog one thing, but if you had the bench where he could put mom, dad, and all three kids go in, because two kids jump up on the table, mom, dad, and Jimmy are sitting there, and he does the two swap. In fact, when I'm doing Jimmy, Susie's already up there, Susie, and I do my beautiful work with Susie, and I go, Dad, it's so great to have you. Come in, Mom. Okay, you get the idea? And there's all five of them, like it's nothing. Versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I just explained to you, it's the first time you ever heard it, isn't it? Never heard it anywhere. But doesn't it seem obvious? Let's put a bench there and pile everybody up in on the bench. And I got one table. Why wouldn't I have two tables? If it's only going to be 45 seconds, why not have somebody on another table ready to go? Right there in the room with the privacy and all that with the speed. So all the couples and all the families and all those people, it's a superior service in a superior way. And it's like, what, a 25% speed increase? And all you got to buy is a $600 bench and one of those crappy tables that I hate. Okay, that's just me. All right, all right. That's just me. Okay. Actually, they're comfy when you're laying on them. But I want you to think about something when you're adjusting. What should the height of an adjusting table be? You know what it should be? When the person's laying down, watch, see my fingertip right here? Their back should be right at the tip of my fingertip. It should be right there. I should never have to do this to get to somebody. My hands they're right there. My hands are there and I just lean and I'm on their spine just like this. So I can get over the top like this and I can just let my body do the work so I don't have to tricep everything my whole life. Okay, I want them down to where my fingertip touches them, just like that. That's where they should be. Okay? All right, just like say in the Gonstead chair, their head is, see my hands 90 degrees and their head is right there. It's biomechanically perfect. They're just right there, that's it. And someone's laying down, they're right there. And I got to get my xiphoid over the top because that has to do the work. I can't have to tricep it. If you find yourself ever doing something on your toes, you know your table's wrong. Okay? All right? But that's a topic for another. But once you were to put somebody on like the TR1, compared to that, you would never use that thing again, ever. If you've just had one person on the TR1 and you saw how much easier it was. Okay? Because remember now, if we want to make adjustments primarily prone, and we got T1 all the way down to T12 and starting in the lumbar, okay? If I have a table that's solid, even if it's padded up around here, okay? If I push with 10 pounds, the table's pushing back with 10. So if this thing doesn't give, okay, I have to work a lot harder, and by the way, oh yeah, nothing moves. But on like the TR1, you just lean on them and stuff flies out of your hand. Okay, like the knee chest table is the best table in all of chiropractic. It's the best pregnancy table. It's the best bigger person table. It's the safest table to get on and off of when people are in crisis. It is the ultimate table. Okay, and I do recommend people have one under the bench in case you need to pull it out with your foot and prop it up. For some pregnant gal or some 340-pound guy or someone with a jacked up thing, you get the idea, and we could have a knee chest table. But those are technique things, and I want people to do what they feel comfortable with. But I do want you to not just assume what you have is good. You might look around and go and just look at something else and go, gosh, that actually is better. Okay? We always have one on display at the seminars for people that might be interested. Okay, but enough on that. Here's the whole point. You have the the sticking points in the practice. I'm going to address a big one right now, and that is, how do you get a person to start care and then continue into wellness? There's this complete disconnect that happens there where most people will disappear. So we have to get this to be as perfect as we can to get as many people to stay and build the base of people that are prepaid and auto-paid. So we have this big base of people coming in, so all the new ones, or the PIs, are all frosting and gravy and awesomeness. Okay, you with me? This is old news for you, Steve, but just hang with me here. Okay, so here's how this goes, for those of you who don't know. When a person comes in, we're going to have an initial recommendation of 24 visits. That is the official new patient number of visits recommendation. And there's a lot of reasons why, but what's the big reason that people wouldn't think of, Steve? Why is it 24?
That's a number that makes sense in your mind. It's common.
Why is it common?
24 hours.
There's 24 hours in a day. So anything I connect to this, they automatically accept, because they're programmed to accept it. Okay? It's not a range, it's 24. That's all adults. Now, I could have some adults that are in bad shape and they've never followed through with care before, and I want to weed them out unless they're serious, and I'm going to say 72 visits, or it's nothing. Okay? You've neglected this your whole life. You've never followed through with anything your whole life. It's been bad for years and years, and so you're going to suck it up and do what I recommend, or move out of the way, because I got a bunch of people out there that do want what we're delivering here. Okay? So either you're going to go out there and you're going to prepay and do what you're supposed to do, or you're better off fiddling around and having it be a mess like it's been for the last 20 years. Okay? Katie will take care of you. Sometimes you have to take people to the woodshed. That's honesty. It's right. The guy's been able to boss people around his whole life. Okay? And he's waiting for someone, and he leaves and goes, "Jeez." He walks up, card, goes home. Man. Wow. He really set me straight. I got to go. I'm going to be there every day this week. And all of a sudden the guy gets better, and you save his life because you were assertive and you weren't weak. Okay? Because he was maybe richer than you and had a more popular name in the area than you, and you felt like you were here in relation to him. Okay? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay. So we have our 24 visit recommendation. Okay? And there's a very specific way that this is done, and there's a formula for this, and maybe I'll get to the formula on getting people into the care plan very, very easily. But we're going to cruise along, and we're going to have ideally some videos that are going on, and we're going to have our office visit talk. We're going to have our table talk, which are two different things. Office visit talk, and we have the office visit talk set, the table talk set, and the communication persuasion set. Those are the three authoritative what to say on office visit sets of material. Steve, have those like changed or saved your life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to know what to say on office visits. Most people don't until you really learn. Remember now, words are very high tech if you use the right words. Words, the right sequence of words at the right time. I mean, that's everything. That's all you have. You have to learn what to say and then how to say it well. So the office visit talk, which is where we program them to make their visits, okay? We program them to refer people in, okay? And we do it with anchoring. So I'm going to adjust the person. Some of you won't see this, okay? And I'm going to say, "See you next week. See you next week," or "See you Tuesday," or "Be here every week." See that? I'm going to distract his conscious mind with this, and I'm going to plant the command into his subconscious mind. "Be here Monday." See that? "Be here Monday," okay? Oh, what great adjustments. Makes you want to tell your family to come in. See that? Tell your friends to come in now. Okay? Great job. Make sure you tell your coach that I'd love to come by and do a little workshop for you guys and see how I can help your team. Want to see you win this year. See you Tuesday. See that? Anchoring all the time. Okay? See you Tuesday. It's always right here. Elbow to shoulder. See you Tuesday. Okay? See, watch this. See you Tuesday. See you Tuesday. F-A. Same time. Higher quality. Okay, adds retention. Layout adds retention. The right colors add retention. Okay, having the right equipment adds a little bit of retention. The team, the tour, okay, the better care plan, the number that people accept, it all adds up, and next you know you're collecting 140, and you wonder how it even happened. You're the same guy. Okay, you see that? You have to realize all these little things add up to becoming a champion. Okay, so we have the 24 visits and we cruise along, but I'm just trying to introduce you to the concept here of having all of the little details all along the way of controlling the experience. I told people, I told this story, Steve might recall this, I went down GT3 RS Porsche. I go, okay, I'm gonna go see what the stink is and what's the big deal with these things. Got all these stickers on the side, these big wings on the back, I dig it. Okay, so let's just go see what the fuss is. So I go to the Porsche place. So I walk into the Porsche place, and you know what I thought I was gonna see? I thought I was gonna see somebody with a cool shirt that said Porsche on it, and I didn't. I saw a guy that looked like he was gonna sell me, I don't know, mosquito spraying services for my yard. Get the idea? I was already, and I wanted some guy who sounded like he was from Germany, but I got nothing. Okay, I got Timmy, okay, who looked like he was the mosquito shield guy, okay? He's at the Porsche place. Somehow it doesn't make sense because there's the $340,000 Porsche sitting right there, but I look at Timmy. Something's not lining up here, right? But it's okay, I'm out for the car, okay? It didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go, and I said, okay, the GT, I just want to see one of these things. He goes, okay, we got over here in this warehouse and we'll go look at one. So I end up going to look at one, okay? Well, in that process of going to look at one, on the lot there, I saw this other car. It had this big, huge Mercedes symbol on the front. And I kind of looked and had these really cool wheels, wide, these cool spokes, these cool calipers. And I go, what am I looking at here? Because I was never in the Mercedes at all. And I go, what is this, okay? Okay, and I'm kind of looking around going, what am I looking at here? And I looked in and saw these like quilted, like chocolate brown seats and all this silver, and I just went, jeez, what is this? Kind of look around the back, AMG, GT, 63, twin turbo. This is getting pretty good so far. Okay, how many miles? 1,500. What am I, what? Huh, hey Timmy, what do we have over here? Okay. Right, but just like I said in the podcast, Timmy, if I want to get rid of this car, can I bring it in and will you sell it on commission? He goes, bring it on back, we'll sell it for you. Great, I'll take it. You want to drive it? Is there something wrong with it? No? What do I need to drive it for? I'm out of here. Just get it all done and tell me when to come and get it, right? All right, but what was my point? It wasn't the experience I expected inside that place for what it was. It was the Porsche dealer for crying out loud, and I got a Nissan level experience. And it was too bad. It was really too bad. They really and it's whoever's running that show, it's their fault. Because they should have cool Porsche shirts, and if all they had was the Porsche golf shirt, it would be okay. Okay? All right? But anyway, so the quality of what's going on. But back to the task at hand. So now we start our 24 visits, but it's the office visit talk, and then table talk are the educational points that we make. Kind of like, oh, I just got my adjustments today. I go once or twice a week. They have to know how often I go. Well, what do you go for? Well, because I'm smart. I mean, what do I go? I always go once or twice a week. Okay? Because if you think I want to end up in a cane, a walker, or a wheelchair, forget that. Okay? I'm like the only doctor you know who does what they tell you. Okay? That's it. Done. Educational point. Oh, that was my trainer. He comes in 3 times a week. 3 times a week, why? Well, he comes, he works out hard, does jujitsu, gets tuned up. See that? They have to see your CAs getting adjusted. Family, they come in when you're busy. Okay? Oh, that's my wife. She comes in every week. Oh, your wife does? Well, of course she does. Maybe I should get my wife in here. I think you should. I've been telling you for a while. Just bring her with you next time. There's no charge for that first visit. See that? You have to be telling them, okay, that you're going, whoever around you is going, educational points, okay? Okay, do you realize, and this is one of my favorites, they're on the table and I'll get down and go, isn't this unbelievable? You came in, you park right up front, you're paying like $75 a visit. Okay, how much better are you? Like, unbelievable, isn't it? Like the pain in your leg is gone? I just used my bare hands. Is that not unbelievable? Is that not a phenomenon? Chiropractic is a phenomenon, okay? Tell your friends and family to come in. We want to help them just like we've helped you. So glad you're here. See you Tuesday. You have to be using the word phenomenon all the time. This is old news, isn't it, Steve? Steve's back there like falling asleep. Okay, but you get the idea? So there's your office visit talk, but you got to know what to say because you got to have someone, give you the stuff and then you can use it. Get the tools and use them, okay? Then, of course, the communication and persuasion, which is handling the questions people ask, okay? All right, so anyway, all along the way, we have all these visits, how we do the re-exam, top method, but we're down here and we have 4 visits left. Here's visit 21, 22, 23, and 24, okay? And then what's gonna happen here on visit 21, Steve? Okay? Now, by the way, just notice, if your PVA grows by 6 to 12 visits, that's an automatic $50,000 to $100,000 more a year, and you didn't lift a finger. All you knew how to do was say like 12 words and have 4 sheets of paper. That's it. I can teach you this in 10 minutes, okay? And it'll add $50,000 to $100,000 a year for the rest of your practicing life. like $1 million at least from one tiny thing. And people go, I don't know if I should pay for coaching. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm just going to train in the garage and hope I win a gold medal, okay? All right, so what happens on visit 21, Steve?
Tori, do it your way. How come you go to the chiropractor?
Keep going. And?
I don't say every day like we all do. Of course, around here, we all go every week or two. What would you do?
There it is. So here's what's happening. They're on the table. You're grabbing the face paper sheet, which, by the way, you should always use the square sheets, never rolls, ever. Always the sheet, so save your back. The sheet comes up, the sheet goes down. Position them, sheet's done, crumple and throw away. None of this dealing with a roll. That went out decades ago, okay? All right, like the tables that do this, that was a bad invention then and even worse now, okay? But anyway, as you're crumpling up the face paper, say, Ron, you had it your way. How often would you go to the chiropractor? Don't say every day like most people do. Of course, around here, we all go every week now. What would you do? And every one of your people will tell you how often they want to keep coming in. And you'll be shocked. I don't know, every week? And you'll go, wow, man, I didn't know this person liked it that much. Okay, all right. Okay, or they say, I don't know, once a month? I don't know, a couple times a month? And whatever they say, you go, great idea. Like they thought of it, oh, great idea. Okay, great idea. Okay, I'll show you how you can do that next time. I'll show you how you can do it next time. See you Tuesday. See that? See, if I want to get someone to continue, I can't just go here and go, hey, you really need to do this. It's too abrupt. I gotta do this. Okay? I got to get them to want to do it. So I got to start here. And again, that's the problem. No planning, no preemptive strikes, no preparation, no goals. The chiropractor is always cramming at the end, and it won't work. And by the way, here's what's happening in chiropractic today. Listen, everybody in Zoom land. In the whole profession of chiropractic today, there's a very gigantic thing happening, and like nobody is aware of it. We have the generation before me and then the generation before that where they had like no student loans, you wrote a check for your education, okay? You were able to save up and become financially independent relatively easily, okay? And then you have like my generation, 120,000 in student loans. You could still do pretty well and you could get ahead. But then the next generation has 300,000 in loans, all these distractions cost 3 times. My build out for my first office was 22,000. That build out would be 180,000 today. You get the idea? So what's happening right now with the bulk of the profession, like probably you, is you've been so used to cramming and trying to get by cheap and see what you can get without having to pay for it. And you're going to wait and do that later. And you have to worry about that when the time comes. That you're going to get to the point where you're too old, okay? You'll be 65 or 70, and you realize you don't have any money. Okay, you realize that? What's happening right now is the whole profession is going over the falls, the mass of chiropractors, okay? Okay, because they think they can wait till down here to worry about money. But it's going to be too late, like decades too late. Decades, okay? Because they still have a house and cars and this and that and saving a little bit, but they're going to get down here and you'll have no way to create an income that will last you the rest of your life. It'll be too late because you waited and you crammed and you tried to be cheap and foolish and stupid for all these years, and it's going to be too late. And you're going to stare out the window and you'll have a regret on your face and in your eyes that will be insurmountable because you'll know, looking back, man, I blew it. All those years, if I just would have done this. That's what's happening right now. So there it is. Come with me if you want to live. Okay? I'm telling you. Okay? Because you're going to need millions, plural. And even then, and I'm not talking about home equity, you can't live on that. You have to be able to take what you have and turn it into a monthly income. Okay? You see that? When you quit working, you have to have money coming in every month. And you're going to get $3,200 from Social Security if you're lucky. Okay? And then what are you going to do? You're going to need thousands and thousands and thousands every month. Well, where does it come from? Where's it going to come from? You have to solve that problem. You have to solve it now. We solve it for students before they even graduate because they see how it all works here, okay? And if a person's 44 or 54 or 62 or 67, we can put plans in place to get that under control.
But you got to be aware of that now, right, Steve? You're doing this now. You're ahead of it now. You're almost to the point where you're excited about this, but we don't want time to go that fast. But it's going to be significant and be more than what you think. That's why the typical in Winner's Edge, we'll have 10 to 100 million with our people when they hit 65 or even 70. 10 to 100 million. 100 million. Do you understand what I just said? Let me show you what that is, because that a lot of people, they can't wrap their head around that or think that that's a chiropractor number. Okay, but that is as real as the sun is hot in Texas. Okay, there'll be chiropractors in the Winner's Edge group in the year 2055 that'll have 100 million, probably more. Okay, and I could grab a calculator and I could show you how that happens in seconds. Okay, all right. Okay, we say getting over the top is 10 million. Because 10 million gets to a $1 million a year passive income without ever touching the pile. So the Winner's Edge standard is for you to have a $1 million a year passive income without ever having to lift a finger. And 10 is what gets you over the top to do that. So that gets you $20,000 every single Friday for the rest of your life without ever lifting a finger. Okay, and that is not that hard to do. I could show you very, very easily if you just, depending on your age and where you're at starting. Okay, that is the standard. The Winner's Edge standard, of course, is auto invest age or a multiple of your age, and then to get where you become a deca millionaire. Okay, and you have to have people have talked about like this, but they don't have a plan like we have. I can draw it all out and show it to you. Maybe I'll do some of that here in a bit. But I just want you to understand that. So, but back to the task at hand, I'm just explaining to you how we get people to continue care. So we use what we call the Winner's Edge re-sign language, and it's very specific. You had it your way, Ron. How often would you go to the chiropractor? And don't say every day like most people do. Of course, around here, we all go every week now. What would you do? Now, again, most of you, right, Steve, you don't know what I'm doing to you when I say that, okay? You're already in the club. You don't have to write that down, but it'd be good if you do to get it nailed in a little bit more. What I'm doing is I'm saying, go to the chiropractor every week. Now you do. That's what I'm saying to you, okay? You had it your way. How often would you go to the chiropractor? And don't say every day like most people do. Of course, around here, we all go every week now. What would you do? Go to the chiropractor, go every week. Now you do. That's what I'm saying. Those are called embedded commands. Ask your doctor if Nexium is right for you. Nexium is right for you. That's what they're doing to you. Do you understand that? Okay, spelling, words put spells on people. News, northeast, west, south. People don't understand what's happening with words and what words mean, okay? But you have to use words that move people in the direction of what you want. Hold on tight. Never don't drop the dishes. It's tell people what to do. Hold tight. Send it out by Friday. Can you get the least to me by Friday? Versus don't wait till Monday. Can you get it to me by Friday? Can you get it to me by Friday? Cap, okay? You with me? Okay. You don't have to get sidetracked on that. That's a whole other training. Okay? Anyway, the language, they tell you, you already have your wellness sheets when they come back in, and you say, well, here's what a block of 24 looks like and a block of 48. You don't have to do it today, Ron. I just wanted to show you what these look like. You could do it next time. Do it. Do it. Okay? Then they come back in. What do you want to go? I think I'll get a block of 12. Great idea. Come on, Katie wants to get a block of 12. Great. Which card did you want to use? Boom. Block of 12 done. And then Katie will re-sign him for a block of 12 for eternity. There. Perfect. Never lifted a finger. Built into the procedure. Takes zero time. No showing x-rays. No follow-up. None of that nonsense because none of it is necessary. Okay? In other words, we have to have ways along the way where we figure out, okay, I got to know what you're thinking. Okay? I have to find out what you're thinking. But I just don't want to say, what are you thinking about continuing care? I didn't think about it. I'm not thinking about it. But if I say, how often would you go? Well, I don't know. I come in maybe once a week or so. That's a great idea. I'll show you how you can do that. A lot of people do that. In fact, that's what most people do. I'll show you can do it next time. That's what most people do. See that? Oh, that's pretty much what everybody does. That's what we do. Sometimes I go 2-3 times a week, depending if I get myself jacked up. Get the idea? So we have to have the way to get people to continue care in the future. And we have the procedure for that. And, of course, you have the actual plans that look like this. Okay? Block of 12, 17, 24, and 48 visits. And then you have the second sheet that's 24, 48, 100, and 200 visits. So you have 2 sheets of paper. Okay? All right? And very strategically, okay, laid out like this. You see we have 24 and 48 on 2 sheets. So if someone says, I don't know, I'd come in 2 or 3 times a week, I'm going to show them this sheet. It'd say 2 or 3 times a week looks like this, and then here's the number. But a lot of people just get a block of 48 or a block of 24. Any one of them will treat you fine. You don't have to do it today, Jennifer. You can do it next time. You know, I think I'll just get a block of 24. Great idea. Come on up front with me. If you want to get a block of 24, great. What card do you want to use? Can I do it monthly? Great. Yeah, it's $97 a month. Perfect. We'll have it come out on the month every month on the 17th, which is today. You're all good to go. If you ever need to change it or modify it, you just let us know. We're easy to work with. See you in 2. See that? So do you see, because this is planning, you already have the prepay and the auto pay for all of your wellness options. I already know what I sell. That's why I sell a lot of it. I don't wing it like everybody else who sucks at it. Okay? If you don't have these 2 sheets and if you can't tell me what a block of 24 visits costs for wellness, you have nothing. What do you can't even be open because you don't even know what you sell. I sell an initial plan and I sell wellness plans. That's what I sell in my store. I got a block of 24, and it's either going to be Chiro plus the decomp. It's just going to be the Chiro, okay? Or it might be a last resort, a block of 12 on the Chiro if I have to get them started. That's it, okay? And the $200,000 a month office is different than that, okay? But we can talk about that too if you want to see what a $200,000 a month office has for what 24 visits brings, okay? All right, and again, I'll use this example I've used lately. Check it out, everybody in Zoomland. I've said this recently, I'll be brief with this. Let's say, and this is how chiropractors think. Let's say you own a Nissan dealership, right? We're back to the Nissans now. You own the Nissan dealership. And you sell your Nissans, and you got Nissan people searching for Nissans coming in, right? So you're selling Nissans. All right. All of a sudden you get a letter and says, hey, we think you're great. We would like you to take over and have a Porsche dealership now. Okay. All right, so here's the Nissan dealership. There's the people that come into the Nissan dealership, okay? You scrap the Nissan dealership, you move 6 blocks away, now you got the Porsche dealership. Do you think the people coming in are going to be different? Of course they're going to, but they were always in the town. They were always around, even though you were the Nissan guy. They were always around you anyway. You just didn't see them because you didn't have a Porsche dealership. You were selling Nissans, okay? Oh, in my area, in this farm country with these farmers, they won't do that. Oh, people don't want to buy Porsches or Ferraris. Yeah, they're sold out. And you got Nissans lined up from here to the telephone light. You get the idea? Okay? All right, so now all of a sudden you have the Porsche dealership. Okay? And now you got Porsche people coming in, who, by the way, are much easier to work with than these people. Can you imagine this? The Honda Accord is 37 cents less per month. I see that the Toyota gets 1 mile per gallon better than this. Okay, and that's who's in there buying these things. You get the idea? And riddled with questions. Okay? The Porsche person just says, because this is a different decision. And then they say, you know what? We love it you have the Porsche place, but we want you to get rid of that. We want to have a Ferrari dealership. And you go, okay, I'll be the Ferrari dealer. Now you got the Ferrari dealership. And everybody who walks in here, they're not walking in there, and they would never be caught dead in there. Okay? They're here. In fact, they don't even show up. They just call. And they say, I see it. I want it. What information do you need? I'll get it taken care of. And can someone deliver it to my office by Friday? Yes, sir, we'll have that taken care of for you. We just have a few things for you to sign. That sounds great. Bye. Get the idea? Sold out. See that? And all the human beings were around the community at the same time. So I'm just encouraging you to go from here and become this person here. And the $200,000 a month person has this capability here. So they've got a couple of Ferraris, they got a couple of beautiful Porsches, we got some really nice Audis, Volkswagen Jetta, Camry, some of those things over here. So I'm at my shop and people come in and say, this is really what you want, Tori. There it is right there. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Okay? But if you can't swing that, we understand it. Not everybody's able to do it. Then you can go with the 911, which of course is legendary. All right. And if that's something that's out of your wheelhouse, we have some beautiful Camrys and Jettas and things like that that'll do a great job for you too. Whichever one you want is going to be fine. But let me just share something with you. This is a high-level point that a lot of people should do. It doesn't apply to you directly, but it does indirectly. Check this out. A lot of people would get something that's higher if they just knew how they could do it. See, a person could look at something like a Ferrari and go, I could never have one. But do you realize that when you're in Ferrari land, how they finance those is not like a normal car? They'll do, sometimes it's easier to get into that than it is the Toyota Tacoma. They'll do some 12-year thing, you put this down, the bank will do this, and you have it for a period of time, you get rid of it, it pays off the loan. So it's about the total dollar amount that leaves your life while you get the use of the vehicle. It's a different game altogether. So a lot of people don't know, hey, if I could just show you how you could do it, watch, I'll say it this way. Let's say I was a salesperson. Okay, you really should get something like the 911 Turbo. I don't think I could ever swing that. Well, here, let me do this. What are you driving right now? Okay, so you got a 2020 Range Rover. Let me just do something for fun. I'm going to show you how the numbers would look. I know you don't want to do it now, Ron, okay? But in case you did want to do it, I'll just show you how the numbers would work, okay? Just so you can know. So when you're ready, okay? You'll know what to do, okay? All right? And so I do it, and I say this, and then I'll show, and a lot of times, people will see the number and go, that's not as bad as I thought. And they'll sit there and they'll figure out how to do it. Maybe if I got rid of that and this and that, I could get in there. And I'll tell you one other thing that'll happen. Once you do something like this, Ron, once you do it, okay, not only are you going to feel great for doing it, okay, but you're going to have a feeling of affluence. You're going to have a feeling of prosperity. And you mark my words, you park that out in front of your office, you'll have people come in and your income will grow automatically by more than the car. Because that's how it always works. And by the way, that is how it always works. Because you showed faith. You acted in a state of knowingness that there was going to be a return. It's even a biblical principle. Ask knowing that you already have it and you should receive it. That kind of a thing. You get the idea? All right. So back to chiropractic. If we have a high dollar plan, okay, if you don't have it, you don't have it to sell. But if you have it, there will be a percentage of people that will want to buy it. Dan, are you not shocked how many people buy decompression easily? And you could have been doing that for years. 30. And by the way, and then even beyond that, I want you to realize if you had more space, they would buy double that. Like even Russ, yeah, I just sold a $7,500 care plan. Of course you did. Get used to it. That'll be normal. Okay? That's not high. That's normal. Okay? That's just normal. Okay? All right? Okay, so I just want to introduce you to this concept, and I'm aware of that. We have the plan for all of these, for the chiropractor that wants to do pure chiropractic in 500 square feet, all the way up to the person that wants to do 200 a month. Okay? All right? Okay, so, and I'm here to accommodate people at whatever level they want to go to, but I'm just telling you, it's no harder to say 24 for this than to say 24 chiro. Okay, and if they want it, great, and if they don't, that's perfectly fine. The chiro is essential. Down the road, if you want, we can add that equipment later. You can always take it in phases, Ron. Perfect. Right, Steve? Of course. And we're good to go. So our initial plan, and we have a system perfectly to get them into a wellness plan that's automated, and then there's how we handle Medicare and all these people, but everybody ends up cash. So you have to have the plan, because remember now, listen carefully, this is a high-level point that most people haven't heard. You think you're out to get people to start care. No, that's the formality. You are out to get as many people into your wellness plans as possible. That's what you're out to do. This is just the formality to get you to here. I'm just doing this to get you back to what you should have been doing all along. It's not about I'm trying to get new ones in, see that's no vision, or I'm trying to get people to start, that's no vision. I want to get as many people into automated wellness plans as possible, which we call the Winner's Edge Infinity Plan, automated payment arrangement that goes forever. I'm out to get as many people as I can into that. And once I get my mind on that, it will pull me through getting all these people to start. But if all I'm worried about is this, well, I got no plan for what's happening down there. I just want to get in the arena. Well, that's no good. I got to get in the arena. I have to get prepared. I have to get on the mat. I have to compete. I want to be victorious. I want to stand on the podium. I want to hold up a trophy. Okay. I want people to cheer for me, and then I want to go back to my house. You get the idea? You got to see this all the way through. Okay? Your goal is to get people here. And when you have a vision like that, because you can think ahead because you're smarter, all right, you'll get more of that. You see, it's a matter of awareness and how smart you are. Not intelligence. A lot of people have intelligence and they have some IQ, but they're not using it at the level because they have not been taught, because they've been cheap in paying to learn how. And you always have to pay to learn how. You'll never just somehow just get it out of the ether itself. Okay, any questions on that? So we have to have a way to start people, and we have to already have our Winner's Edge wellness plans, which, by the way, we already have made, okay, that you move people into, and you get them into their wellness thing, and then you build your base like that, and you are good, I mean like forever, okay? And it's just a matter of your treatment time, increasing the quality, keeping it fresh, keeping it light, keeping it fun, okay? All right. Okay, let's do something else here. I haven't even got off the first page yet. Oh. gobs of time. You guys get your cool stickers over there? Get them all over your laptop? Okay. I just want to address something here very, very quickly. I'm just going to reiterate something. I want you to get you to take a good look at you, okay, and what's really happening with you, okay, and your collection per visit. What do you think your collection per visit is, Jacob?
Mine's about 35.
Yeah, 35. How could that not be 100? How could it not be 100? I want you to think about something here. It's okay, everybody starts there. I was there too. Yeah, of course. But let's just take a look at this for a second. This is what I'm getting at, okay? If we go back to, what do you think do you remember before it was 98940, 98941? And then there was like whatever the code was, and then there was another code called soft tissue mobilization, which is another code that was commonly used 30 years ago. But anyway, what do you think your quote adjustment code fee was in 96? 38 bucks? 35? I bet 50? It wasn't 50. In 96, 38. Yeah, I'm just giving you the idea here, watch. So we go back 30 years ago, okay? It's 35 bucks, okay? Well, that 35 bucks today, okay? You ready for this? Or let's say it was like 40. Really, it's like $89 today, okay? But here's what's happened. This is what's happened with you and everybody else, okay? Is they had this, right? And it just kind of stayed like that. But everything else around us expanded. So here's the profession of chiropractic, and here's the world around you, okay? My business insurance, like you have a policy for this place, right? Somebody drives through the front door, you got an insurance policy, right? How much is that per year, Craig? 600?
2,000.
It's 2,000 bucks. Standalone building, probably a little bit more than if you're renting a place in a strip mall. Okay, mine for where my office is was 1,600. It was 1,600 last year. This year, it's 2,800. It just went up, and this just three of us in a door and locked on the computer all day long. Me making some videos, my dog farting. That's what we do. That's what happens all day. Okay, all right. So it went up 1,200 bucks. Look at that, 1 year. 40%. Okay, and then there's that, and there's gas, and then there's cars, and then there's houses, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You get the idea? But yet chiropractic fees have stayed the same. Why haven't they increased with everything else? Think about that. And that's it. And insurance companies have helped to pull this, and they're just laughing all the way to the bank because they've got the grip, and chiropractors are weak, and Blue Cross only pays this. Yeah? Well, if you're letting them run your life, that's your choice. But if you got rid of them, you'd be shocked how many people would come in and pay more. Okay? If you had any faith. Okay? All right? So really right now, the average collection per visit should certainly be 90, and that's not high. 200 would be better. Okay? 100 is just like, you have to have a collection per visit over 100. I mean, it's 2025 for crying out loud. Well, now to do that, because you're thinking adjustment 100, well, you can't. You have to add additional services for people. That's it. Okay, and that's what you haven't been exposed to, and you haven't known how to do, and you haven't known how to add it, or how to price it, or how to sell it. But we have all of that. Exactly what equipment, exactly what the fees are, and exactly what to say to people, and people will buy it. Right, Steve? Okay, and that's it. And they'll love it, and they'll like it, and you'll be a higher-end office, and other offices won't have what you have because they don't know what you know. Okay? It'll make you exclusive. It'll make you more high caliber, more high performance. So you have to sit there right now and say, I got to get my collection per visit over 100. Go ahead and say that, Jacob. I got to get my collection per visit over 100. Say it.
I gotta get my collection visit over 100.
It might take a while,
It might take a while.
but I'll get there.
But I'll get there.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and that's fine. But now you know where you're going. And it'll be a matter of time. Tori, I'll look at a stat sheet and it'll say 98 bucks. I'll say, nice work. You'll say, yeah, but I'm not over the top yet. Okay? Okay? So I just want you to be aware here that chiropractic is kind of hovering in this thing, the expenses. And so chiropractors and what they've felt, and I talked about this on a couple other of these, then I got to move on, is you felt how much money you have go down because the chiropractic profit, okay, has kind of stayed the same, but the cost of everything around you has gone up. So what your quote, the expenses have sort of done this. You cruised along and you had these expenses and you paid some stuff off and you felt profit. but then all of a sudden all the expenses for everything have gone up, okay? So you went from having that to that, and that's the problem right there. And that's what people are feeling right now. You see that? Is it used to be, oh, see volume, have the roller table, do whatever, and you'll do okay. And that was okay for a period of time. But now that entire model is obsolete. It needed to be seen that it was for sure going to be obsolete, okay? And you had to have a plan for when it did this. And I had the plan for that. And then, of course, now we've gone to this, okay? And that, and we've gotten back to that level of profit and even beyond. You see the idea? So as things sort of, quote, move through time, all right, as the expenses have gone up and the chiropractic offering has stayed the same, your profit has been taken from you systematically. It's going to be, it's by design, it's supposed to do this. This is how society works, okay? And you have to know that going in. So you have to sit there and go, oh, that's so funny. I knew that was going to happen. It just happened a little bit earlier than I thought. Okay, I'll roll this out now. And so we add the decompression tables. And there, that fixes that problem. It fixes it. And it's the perfect thing to add into the chiropractic office. Because you can't just sit there and say, okay, it's $100 a visit to come in now, because everybody around you, they can go for 50. You get the idea? So I have to add something, okay, that makes it worth more than even what they're paying if you have additional services. Okay? All right. Everybody understand that? So some of you are stuck here, and some of you are already approaching it on this path because you made the corrections. Okay. You cannot chase volume and make up for this. It will never work. It's too late. It's way, way, way too late. Like Dan knows it, it's too late. Yeah. Okay. There was a time years ago where you could get to 100 plus visits a day, and the overhead structure was decent and all that, and you were doing okay, and you felt surplus, and the loans were little, and the build out was easy to pay off. You were doing good, but that's over now. It's way over. Okay. I had a couple on the line the other day, $714,000 in student loans, and she wants to stay home and raise the kids. He's forfeit his life. No house yet. How do you have that and somehow save up the down payment for a house? How do you do that? How do you don't, let alone start to invest. Come with me if you want to live. We're the only place that can handle that. And since we can handle that, and Steve already knows that I'm right, because he knows, well, they're going to have to start rapid firing. It's going to take some time. They'll have this little account over here. They can get a trickle going to be thinking about a house, but it's going to take a while. Just stay put. No more kids, please. Okay? And they're going to start to bring that down, and he's doing good. He's up to $80,000 a month now, so he's doing okay. You get the idea? This will be okay. It's going to take a little work. Okay? All right. Any questions on that? How much fun is this? Really, I wanted to start training last night and go 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., but I figured you guys wouldn't be able to do that, but that's just me. In fact, I want to do a boot camp like that where we just go 24 hours solid. We start at 6 p.m. and go to dinner the next day. Okay? All right? That would not be hard. 48 hours, that would be some work. Remember, we're talking about a boot camp for some of you. Remember now, we got like Navy SEALs, okay, at the training in San Diego on the beach, putting everybody in the water like Navy SEALs. We're not like messing around here. We're not like a bubblegum everything that you see out there, okay? Right, Steve? It's the real thing, okay? We just do stuff that nobody could pull off, okay? All right? Okay. All right. Now, I want to go over a couple quick things here. I'm going to go over some fee things here, and I'm going to do some money flow stuff, okay? So just hang with me out there. You're being patient in Zoom land. Okay, we're going to make it a little bit more exciting now. I'm just going to go over all the main codes and fees in a chiropractic office and show you what the little bit the higher end would be for each of those codes. Okay, and this is where you'll be at very, very quickly. Okay, so we got 98940 75, 98941 100. Okay, and then we're going to have the 203 exam and the 203-25, and that'll be 300 at least. And then we're going to have the 213, okay, and that will be 200. And then we're going to have the 202, which is 200, and the 212, which is 150. Okay, the 012, the roller table would be 50. Okay, and the decompression table would be 100. There. Okay, you could absolutely have that right now if you wanted to. It'd be a little on the higher end, and a lot of chiropractors look at that and that might even scare them a little bit, but that's not that high. Okay. All right, now realistically today, this would be 60. This for sure has to be 75. Your 203 cannot be a penny below 250. The re-exam is 190 for that. The 2 is 150, and the level 2 re-exam is 90. And the roller table is 35, and the decompression table is 75. There it is. And none of you should be a penny below that. In fact, they should be exactly that for every one of you. Yeah, but what about Blue Cross? That doesn't matter. You have to have the numbers in the computer that are perfect. And then whoever's going to reprice it, Medicare or people you're in network with, they'll reprice it from there. But you have to have the numbers in the computer be perfect for what's right in your area, okay? So this is the starting point, okay? All right, now, as we start to lay out what you're going to sell, all right, Jacob, I walk into your office. What's my initial care plan going to cost? I'm a regular guy. I'm just going to pay cash. What's my initial plan going to be? You're going to tell me to pay how much? I'm going to pay in full.
1,400.
How much?
1,400.
Okay, so how do you arrive at that?
That's about 24 times 50.
24 times 50, because so there's your 1,200. Okay, what else?
Plus X-rays and the initial exam being about 225.
Okay, so all right, so you're at 1,425 roughly. Okay, then what?
Then after the care plan would be about 50.
No, that's okay. Just the initial plan,
Yeah.
roughly like that. Okay, all right, Steve. Is this going to work in the future? How he sells it and talks? The answer is no. You're doing a good job, and this is what every chiropractor has done. But I'm going to show you how this should look. Okay. Now watch. This is going to change your life. Okay. All right. Number one, all new patients are free for everybody forever. 0. Every new patient is a 0. Okay? All PIs are a 0. 0. Anybody in net? 0. Why is that? Hello, Lindsay. Okay? Now, this can cause a lot of, well, but I'm in a network. I know, but we on a case-by-case basis, we can handle this. But by the way, just very quickly, why do we want to have the new patient thing be 0? There's a main reason for this. Anybody want to take a stab at it?
Because you want them in your office.
Well, you want them in your office, so there's no barrier. And by the way, if you had someone bring their kid in, you'd probably see him for free anyway. Then I'm going to turn around and charge the PI guy $400 10 minutes later. Way to go, genius. See, that's not, see, we have a word here. See, there's more important things than money, and the big word is called honor. See that? All right? What's another big reason, though? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Well, there's that, too. I don't want to sit there and have to talk to people about their insurance. Did you check on my deductible? Hell no. No, I'm not going to. I'm just going to make it free. Okay, what about, it's all free. 0, well, yeah, but my Medicare, forget it. It's free. You see the idea? I eliminate that whole conversation because I cannot afford to have it. Because I have 16 people sitting here at 3:30. I cannot have that conversation. Okay? But here's how we set it up. On your website, you have an offer that's $47, and it gets this, that, and everything that they want. The whole visit's free. And then, of course, we have the whole system for this, and you'll see it on our videos, how you qualify the different types of cases. But every single person that comes in, here is the procedure. Listen out in Zoom land. Okay? We have a big stack in the cupboards that you don't have yet, okay, like this high of gift certificates to make the whole visit free. Okay? And I lean back from my stool right here in the doorway, and I go, hey, Katie, do we have any of those gift certificates left? And I know we've got 2,800 of them stacked like a skyscraper, okay? And she says, let me check. And of course, she peels one up and she hands it me. And I said, here, let's use this today. It makes everything for the first visit no charge. Okay? Done. There. Now we can all relax. Okay? I'm there to sell plans. I don't give a rip about the first visit. I will give anybody in my community a chance to see how we can help them. That's what I say. You know, because of who we are and how many people we see, we're able to do some things that most offices could never do. So we're willing to give anybody a chance to come in, get a set of x-rays, and hear my thoughts, and give them a chance to benefit from chiropractic care. That's our commitment to the area. And that's why people love us so much. That's why people love us so much. See that? There, done. You know, now I can relax. Okay, and they can relax. Okay, because there's no stupidness. And by the way, if someone doesn't start and they paid that fee, you know how much they hate you? They wish they never would have come in. But if they paid nothing and they didn't have to pay anything, it's all good. And next thing you know, they show up in 3 months and they still refer people to you. Okay, because you didn't burn them. Okay? All right, if you don't want to start a plan, okay, that's the thing. Okay? All right, so it's very important. This is quite smart. If you want more new ones and you want to make your life easier, okay, and you want to look better and sound better and feel philanthropic and all that stuff, that is the angle. It is awesome. I've been doing that for forever. Anyway, okay, so here we've got that. So now here's what you got, all right? Here's what your thing should look like. Jacob, your 98941 is 75. You got roller tables at your office?
Yes.
Those are 35. Okay, so there we got 110, don't we? Basically, that's what's happening here. But I want to approach it this way. We have the care plan sheet. Everybody in Winner's Edge buys the forms, and they get the new patient generator, and they get the office visit talk, and they get a bunch of these other ones too. Okay, so we got a block of 24 visits. Now here's how this is going to look. 24 at 75 is 18. So we're going to put the 18 in the box, like that. Now I know I'm going to be doing the roller table and some other things, so technically, in the computer, when I put stuff in, it will show more than that, okay? But there's a time you could get to that, but for you, this is for you, and everybody could do this, okay? All right, and then we're going to have a prepay amount that's 14, okay? And then we're going to have a payment arrangement that's going to be 16. What's 16 divided by 3? 533? 3 times 530, just like that. That's what they're going to see. Those are the only numbers on the sheet. So you're going to draw, and by the way, remember now in Winner's Edge, when we do a report, we draw a diagram for people. We don't just bounce words off their face that are useless. We draw a diagram, right, Steve? Is the diagram not unbelievable? It's like blanking unbelievable, isn't it? It's something. It's just really something. I'll show it to you in a second if many of you aren't familiar with that. Okay, so we're going to draw the diagram so they understand exactly what's going on and how and why, and they get to see it graphically versus you bouncing words off their face. Okay? All right? And then we're going to yank out the care plan sheet, which is a very simple sheet. And it's made to look simple. It's made to look analog. It's made to look old school. It's not assuming. It's not graphic-y. People want to take it and make it stupid, but it is perfect in its original state. Okay? All right. So this is what it's going to sound like. He has this sheet sitting there. It's ready to go. He also knows in the back of his mind, well, if they can only get a block of 12, you know it's going to be 700. Okay? Or maybe, and then maybe 2 payments of 350, one now and one in a couple weeks, because 12 adjustments is going to last them about a month. That's the last resort. So you might just pencil those in on the back 12. You got your 700 and 2 times 3, just the block of 12. That's the catch-all if you have to save the day. Okay? So there's what we got. So you're going to say this, Jennifer. Now we've already checked. Okay, say there's no insurance. Jennifer, here's what it's going to be to be here. Now we got 24 visits. Now 24 visits at the chiropractor. It could be $2,000-3,000 depending on how much was done each time you go in. But here we're going to have a flat office visit fee of $75. So if I have to take x-rays, we're going to do the cool roller table. Technically, that's supposed to have an additional fee. But I'm going to do everything I can on every visit to get you as much better as I can, okay? So the 24 at 75, that's where we come up with the 18. But that's if you paid each time you came in. Nobody ever does that. What everybody does, they pay it all at once, saves you quite a bit. It's a lot less work for Katie up front. It's only 14. And if you'd like to make a few payments, that's perfectly fine. You can do 3 530s. What's going to work best for you? There it is. And they'll say, can I make payments? And you say, great, follow me. Katie, Jennifer's ready. She'd like to make a few payments. Great, Jennifer, which card did you want to use? Now, there's a lot going on here in the technology of what I did with you. There's a lot of heating and cooling. There's a lot going on, and I'll just explain it here briefly because I want to go on to other things. Notice the very first thing I did is 24 visits could cost $2,000 or $3,000 depending on where you go, which is absolutely true. So I have to make that number look smaller. You have to make it look small, by the way, because it is fairly small, okay? So you have to say, well, 24 visits could be $2,000, $3,000. See how I said 1,000? And there I said 18. I didn't say $1,800. In fact, I didn't even say 1,800. I just said 18. Very important. Okay, it could be $2,000, $3,000 depending on where you go, how much they do on each visit. But we do something. Then what I do is then I bring them back to me making them feel special. I'm going to have a flat office visit fee of 70. So regardless of what I do, if I have to take another x-ray, I have to check your elbow, I'm going to do everything I can to get you the most. You're going to get a lot for your money. I have to let them know they're going to get a lot for their money. See that? You're going to get more than what you paid for. Tori, if you hire me to do the build out of your new office, I'll tell you what, while I'm in there, while I've got the tools and I've got me and my guys, if you need shelves done or any other work done, we'll just do that all while we're there and we'll make the place as perfect as we can. before the trucks roll away. How does that sound? I'd say, my God, you're hired right now. But, you know, who would be smart enough to say that? Okay, all right, because that's it. While you're in here and you guys got the, you know, I was putting up a shelf one time. I'm not sure if you heard this story, Steve. The guy was doing a build at one of my offices, right? And I'm back there with a cordless drill and trying to put this bracket on there because I knew that, you know, these, yoke and row were heavy and all that. And he's kind of looking in the window as he's over there doing some work and getting the office ready. And he looks back in and he goes, what are you doing? I'm putting up the shelf. And he goes, why don't you let me do that? And he goes, no, I got it. And he goes, Tori, listen, if you put that shelf up, it has to last for a while. But if I put that shelf up, it'll last forever. And I said, okay, Troy, you can finish the shelf, okay? And it's still there, okay? Yeah. So in other words, you appreciate that type of work. So that technology and thinking, I'll do everything I can to help you as much as I can, okay? All right? So you see 24 at 75 is the 18. See, that's how we arrive at that number. Now watch, but that's if you paid each time you came in, which nobody ever does. Nobody ever does that. What everybody does, because everybody wants to be like everybody else, because what, you guys will have heard this before, people go where people go because people go where people go, okay? It's just 14. And if you'd like to make a few payments, that's perfectly fine. You can't make them feel bad if they can't pay it all at once. A lot of people, they'll feel bad. Now you can use this against people, like say in the car situation, if someone's looking at the Porsche and they think the payment is high, you can sit there and say, well, Ron, maybe this isn't quite at the level that you'd like to be at. Let's go over here and take a look at these Nissans. You have any idea how much he hates what he just heard? Hates it. Hates it, hates it, hates it. And he'll go home and maybe he'll figure out a way, okay? Now that's being fairly, and by the way, if it's a female doing that to a man and saying that and going over here, oh dude, he'll be ruined for years, okay? Unless he can somehow suck it up. You get the idea, am I right, ladies? Just say yes, okay. Okay, we're having a little fun here. So there's the formula there that gives you the best chance to have the most people sign up, okay, and have them arrive at what's going to be a decent collection per visit, because that's going to get you 24 to 14. It's going to get you about $60, maybe about $60 a visit. And there you are. And if you have that, okay, and you get some people into wellness, your collection per visit will go right to 42 and then 47 and then 53 for the same volume. And it's reasonable. And if people will do 12, they'll do 14. Okay. All right. So there's a formula. Okay. It's this goes to that. We bring it back to this. Then we go to here. Then we warm it up. Then we cool it off. And then we bring it back to what's warm. You get the idea? See, it's the reason why that's there and not there. Okay? We go to here 14, but if you want to make payments, it's going to get colder again, and then I point the pen here where it's warmer. Okay? Now I tell the story, and Steve has probably heard this, so I'll be brief again. They did this great research thing where they took people's hands and they put it in this freezing cold water. Okay? Freezing cold water for like 10 minutes. Everybody hates it. I hate it. It's freezing. 39 degrees. Man, that hurts. It hurts. I want to get it out of here. Okay, so they did that with a bunch of people. Then they took the group of people, and they put their hand in the freezing cold water, and after like 8 minutes, they warmed it up a couple degrees. It was still freezing cold, but it warmed up just a bit. But they kept it in there for 7 more. So it was 10 minutes, or it was 8, and then they brought the temperature up a little bit, here, okay, but they had to keep it in longer. And afterwards, they surveyed everybody, which one would you choose if you had to do it again? And they all picked this one, even though it was 5 minutes longer. Because that little bit of warming up right there was so valuable. That little bit of warming up on the roller table, it'll get people to drive through traffic to get here. If you have the right table at the right height in the right room in the right way, so the experience is at the level of quality. You get the idea? Never below probably 3 or 4, 6 for most adults even. Get the idea, the correct table, the correct lighting. Okay, you see that? That's what that does. Okay? It adds another thing to your service that nobody else has. Okay? So what's happening here is I'm warming it up. See that? Right there. Warming it up. Then I'm cooling off and then bringing it back down. Okay? So there's a lot that can be said, again, in the technology that's being used. But it gives you the app. There's no better way that this could ever be done. It's just that simple. It just is. And by the way, it doesn't matter. Oh, he goes and adds decompression tables. Oh, that's hard. All we do is this now. Like that. Or close to it. Well, we're going to have the 24 visits, Ron, like I was sharing with you. We're going to do, of course, the incredible spinal decompression. I'm going to have the roller table in there too. And of course, the spinal adjustments. Now, around the country, that could be $6,000, $7,000. In fact, we had a guy come in, it was $7,000 just for the decompression at a medical place. No chiropractic, just that alone. It's unbelievable. But we're going to be able to do it all here. And so you see here, it ends up being 36, which is pretty incredible, I know. So remember now, it's going to be the spinal adjustments, the cool intersegmental table, and the decompression. And we're going to have a flat office visit fee here of the $150. And I'm going to do everything I can when you come in. If I have to take an x-ray, check your elbow, okay, whatever we need to do, we'll do as much as we can so you can get as much better as possible. So you'll see the 24 to 150, that's how we end up with the 36. But that's if people paid each time you came in. Nobody ever does that because it's too much of a pain. Everybody does it all at once. It saves you quite a bit. It's 28. If you'd like to make a few payments, that's perfectly fine. It's 311.50s. Whichever is going to work better for you is fine with us. Great. Watch this. Yeah, I don't think I can swing that. That's fine. It's my job to show you what's best. Now, what you can do is you can just go the pure chiro. That's perfectly fine. But I am going to tell you, okay, and by the way, the pure chiro obviously is going to be half that. It's just 14. Okay. If we get going along and we don't think we're getting the results, I'm going to recommend that we add that decompression table, okay? But you can take it in phases. That sounds great. Good. Come on up here with me. Ron's all ready to go. We're going to go pure chiro, Katie. Sounds great. Which card do you want to use? Gave him a chance. I didn't back off. I went, you don't want to. See that? It's just my job to show you. Here's the 911 Turbo. It's what everybody wants. 350. Okay, it's unbelievable. You don't have to drive it. Just look at this. Just look at this thing. Imagine if this was in your garage. In fact, we got to let you just take this and park this in your garage. Leave the garage door open on a weekend and look at all the neighbors that are staring in your garage and just imagine what they're going to be thinking about you. You imagine that, how great that would be? Let alone driving it? It's unbelievable. Just owning this car is going to enrich your life. In fact, it's going to make your income go up because as you feel more affluent, you'll attract more affluent opportunities. But you get the idea. I'm going to do my thing, right? Okay? But you can't swing it, perfectly fine. It's there, and maybe we get you into something else, and you could always trade and look at something like that down the road. So here, of course, we got the Acura. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to love it. Let's get you all set up. Jenny is all ready for you in the finance office. Gave the guy a chance. It's the best you can do. Okay, enough on that. You with me? The care plan sheet with the care plan formula, and now you're excited. You can't wait to go over it with people. You know exactly what to say. You have the backup plan. If they don't start, you walk away going, there's nothing else I could have done. I did everything perfectly. Okay? Okay, enough on that. How are we doing out there in Zoom land? Okay. Let me check one thing here. One thing quickly. Katie, we doing okay? Check the chat. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Okay, we're looking good. Lewis, great to see you. Great to see you, Lewis. Exciting things happening in your world. Man, are things going to be different for you in a few months. I just couldn't be more excited. Nolan, great to see you up there at Life. What is he doing here? Is he there and you're here? What's going on? Is it break time? No, it's not break time? Okay, all right, forget it. Okay, all right. Okay, we got to move on. So the key point here so far of several key points. One, we want to increase quality. We got to look at every single tiny detail. We have to realize that the profit has been an attempt to squeeze it out of chiropractic, and so volume seeking will not get you anywhere anymore, okay? We're going to have to add some services. We have the way to do that. We want to make sure we have our fees current. We got to have a way to sell that initial plan to people, and we have to have a way to get people to continue care for infinity by having our Winner's Edge wellness plans and, of course, the language to get them into those. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. Everything here is easy. It's just a matter of learning it and putting it in place and then having it work for you. Okay, so now let's move on. I'm going to do some money flow things here. Okay? Okay, let's do a little bit of money flow here. Okay. Here is the question I will ask all of you. Okay, and some of you, when I ask this, your mind, I'll just tell you right now where your mind is going to go. Your mind will not be able to go there. It won't know where to go. I'm going to pose the question, and you'll think, and then in a second or two, you're going to bail out mentally because you don't know what to think. You don't have a solution to this problem, okay? And that is, how are you going to create a monthly income? Let me say that because I got to get the words clean. How are you going to create a monthly income that sustains you in a grand way for the rest of your life after you retire and exit the profession and your working income goes to zero? How are you going to do that? Just explain it to me. Here's the pen and here's the whiteboard. Just draw it for me, what you're going to do. How's it going to work? What's it going to look like? How much you going to have? How much you going to have every month to live on? See, you're going to get down the road and you're going to have money. So this problem is real and it is coming fast, okay? So this is real, okay? It is a real problem, okay? And you have to have it solved now, because you can't wait to solve it then because it's too late. You got to solve it now. And I want people solving it literally when they start with us, and we have people that have this solved like before they graduate from chiropractic college, because they joined a year before graduation and they learn how to do all this and they already know what they're out to do. Okay, and I'll explain it here in just a minute. Okay, so how are you going to create an income for yourself after your income ends? And it's going to end. Okay, all right? And this has to be significant and has to be more than people think. All right? So, I say this a lot, and I did this on the podcast that just came out. I'll be brief with it here. Okay? Just so you know. Okay? Why everybody goes to chiro school and what the game is. Here's the game you're in, right? The game you're in is you want to get good enough at what you do in here that you can get people to pay you, and you can bring the money into a system that'll cover all the expenses. You can give some away, get the taxes under control, you can get the debt eliminating beautifully, because you got to have your house paid for and all that by the time you retire. You cannot retire and have a house payment. You have no house payment before you retire. That's key. And then I got to get enough going into investments that automatically reinvest and automatically compound, so they grow over time to the point where when I sell the practice and that money goes into my system, I can then reverse the system and live off my own money. We call it in Winner's Edge completing the what, Steve? Completing the circle. So here is how we complete the circle. I'll draw it briefly, then I'll try to get more precise for you. Every penny that you collect goes into the clinic checking account. You have a goal for what you want to collect per month. We draw it right there. Okay, you're going to give money away, and we give some money to animals every month, and you give money to people every month, automatically, monthly, from the business. Remember now, this is an account. Accounts hold money, like a tank holding water. Except anything here, these are not holding tanks, they're flow-through accounts. The money goes in and it flows through fast. Money loves speed, like water loves speed. Fast water is clear water. Slow water, still water is murky and mucky. Get the idea? All right, and then once again, like many of you have heard me say, water has current. While money is called currency. In fact, water flow is controlled by the banks of the river. Currency is controlled by the banks. This is a physics problem. It's a systems energy management problem. In fact, all chiropractic office problems are a physics problem, and it has to be solved from a physics mindset. Okay, that's why the layout and the architecture, okay, is what controls the flow of energy in the office. Okay, transition. You're moving between energy fields. Depression. You're not looking at the positive. You're only looking at the negative energy, the negative ion. Transmission. You're transmitting energy. Transmit. Attention. I'm attending to you with my energy. Okay, ion. It's chemistry, it's physics, and you have to understand how this flows, and money works identically. So here we are. So then we're going to have any practice expenses. Here's the money leaving your life. Here's the money that stays in your life. Then you may have some practice debt, and they could be listed here, and we can have a strategy for each one of those. Now you're going to get paid, and this can go into a personal checking or a joint checking. Okay. Normally, when it comes to taxes, okay, there will be a account here that money goes into every week, never anything other than that. And then the tax deposits are usually made quarterly like that. Most of you don't have an accountant that can pay the taxes automatically every week like I do. Okay, so we have to do it this way, since somehow all these other accountants can't figure out how to do it. Okay, even though it's like ridiculously easy, but that's just the way it is. Okay, so we have that. So now the giving is done. Money rule number 1. The taxes are done, got to be handled. Money number 2. You get the idea? The chiropractor gets paid every week. That's money flow rule number 3. You get paid every week. Every week. Never every other week. Every week. Every week, the exact same amount. Like let's say it was $2,500 a week. Paycheck draw, paycheck draw, paycheck draw, the same amount, a clean number every week. There's no variation. There's no other option. Do nothing else. Your way sucks. It's this way or no way if you ever want to have any real money. Okay? Because this clean dollar amount going into here, you have to know what that is. So I got $2,500 every week. Now I know what I can set up for my automations and how much it will leave me. So if I have $1,500 in automatic stuff, I know I got $1,000 of leeway to play with until next Wednesday when I get another $2,500. You have to know that. Then every month, if you have money that's a surplus, then you can get a bonus at the same time the CAs get a bonus. Okay, and let's say it was $12,000. You take 8, you leave 4 in for tax, and you're good. And that money should go into the money flow system and work beautifully. So we got our giving is set. This is a law. You have to give some back to the field. Okay? If I win at the table, okay, playing blackjack, and I say I'm going to leave, what happens? Immediately, I do what? You tip the dealer. Okay, you don't tip the dealer. Okay? Always tip the dealer. Okay? Whoever dealt you the money, you better give some back. The field demands it, otherwise you don't get a future harvest, right? People violate these laws of nature and somehow think they're going to win. It's just criminal, okay? So we got 3. Now, down here, we're going to have our personal expenses. We will have personal debt. Personal debt gets listed just like this. When it comes to debt, it's very simple. We're going to make the minimum payment on all of them, and then we're going to set up another automated weekly payment toward the smallest one. Then, on top of that, you will do what, Steve? You will pay some every single day. Every single day. Every single day. Every single day. Okay? Because it's nothing to go into your bill pay and send them $50, $20, $100, and you'll be shocked. The Winner's Edge record is $280,000 in student loans paid off in 13 months. Then we had another $297,000 in like 14 months. I want you to think about that. Just ponder that for a second, okay? All right? And then all that found money goes into the killer home with the incredible backyard, auto investing, a multiple of the age, and these people will have 20 to 50 million when they retire because they learned the way to do it. You have to learn how to do this, okay? Which means you got to pay someone to teach you, okay? And it's just one of those things. You hear me talk about it all the time. The chiropractors that want to be cheap but somehow think they want to win. They don't go together. It's just, you know, it's one of those deals, you know? But we're here for the people that want to be here in chiropractic, not everybody down here. Okay, we want to take everybody from here and move them over to there. Okay, so you got that, right? Now we're done. Now we're going to have some fun, which happens right here. And let me bring you over here now and get to what I want to get to. Okay? Now if you have a house, the house is a hexagon that sits there like this with the mortgage. We call that M1. So we're making a payment to that, just like so. Okay? Now, in the simplest sense, you would have what we call an S3, a special short-term savings account. This is where you save money for a house, and if you have a house, this is where you put a little trickle of money. Oh, I don't know, maybe it's $50 a week for holidays, vacations, birthdays. It's just a little play fund. That's all it is. Okay? I personally don't have one of those because I can just use this account for whatever I want, but for a lot of people that would work out fine. Then we're going to have investment count number 1, and then we're going to have investment count number 2. And normally we don't need to go beyond that, but it is possible a person could have a couple other things. And yeah, I know a person might have a rental home and there can be some other things that go on this, but this is the main skeleton of the money flow system. Okay? Just like that. Okay? And there it is. And you have this automatic investment into here and that automatic investment into there. And so we have what we call the Winner's Edge Rapid Fire, and that's the make a payment every single day. That is my invention. Okay, you'll never see that anywhere. No Dave Ramsey, no Susie Orman. All their stuff is no good compared to this because nobody has any money at the end of the month. I'm a rich guy and I don't have any money at the end of the month. It's all gone into the system one way or another. So I got to skim. You skim the money off the top every day. Everybody, even a poor person has an extra $1 a day. They do. You ask some single mom with 2 kids, you got $80? No. You got $1? Yeah. Next day you got $1? Yeah. Next day you got $2? Yeah. End of the month they gave you $60. Didn't even know they gave it to you. That's how you pay off loans. You skim it off the top with a little bit every day. And every payment you make going toward principal lowers the amount of interest that's accruing against you. It is mysteriously powerful, okay? All right, so we have that. And then, of course, our automatic investing. So we have the rapid fire as part of sort of what we call the winner's edge money flow system, okay? And then we have the vortex. And right here is where the vortexes form, okay? All right? Now here's what's happening, and I got to be brief on this. Once you start putting money in and you set it up to automatically reinvest and it automatically compounds and it grows into itself, you see how this starts to take on a life of its own? This thing starts to spin up to speed. And when it spins, okay, like a fan, it's going to cause a suction. It's going to pull money into itself. It has to. You're engaging a law of physics here. Money has to flow. It has speed to it. And when I add speed to it, it has to pull the money from the only place it can. And it will pull and it will cause your collections to go up. The very first, there's two things if a chiropractor wants to make more money. Number one, dress better, because chiropractors dress disastrously, because so they don't look like anybody that anybody would want to pay. And then number two, you set up the vortex, because when this money starts to go in here, see, money only flows to people who are experts at handling it. And if you say, I have a Roth, and I say, well, what's the investment in? And you say, well, I don't know. You don't get any more money because you don't even know what you have going on. Right, Steve? And you're laughing because you know it's true. And all these people, they have no idea what they've got. None. Well, this guy set it up for me. Well, what's the ticker symbol? What's a ticker symbol? Get the idea? What did it return last year? I don't know, but it seems to be doing okay. What's in it? I don't know. Okay, if you don't know exactly what you're giving, it's going to Doberman Rescue of Minnesota, and this is going to whatever the church is, the Bible Institute, down there on Highway 50. You get the idea? And my tax money goes in perfectly, and my quarterlies come out perfectly, so that's all done. I've got my paycheck every week, the exact same amount, automated perfectly, okay, just like I teach, right? And I've got that automated perfectly, creating the vortex. Okay, these are perfect. I got 3 houses, all set up perfectly. No wonder I get more. I know what I'm doing. I can handle it. I've proven to the money, quote, God's lowercase g, that I can handle more, so I get more. But people think because they want more money, they know what they would do with it, and therefore they get nothing because they really don't know what they're doing. They don't know. Okay, if you gave people more money, they're like I say in my data sheet, you saw that in the questions. If you had a bunch of more money, do you think your system would work? Nope. You know, no, it won't work. It has to go to a high level. But you see here, you can flow huge amounts of money. You could have $1 million a month. You'd be giving more. The taxes would be automated perfectly. You'd increase your pay $25,000 a week. You get the idea? Okay, your investments would increase dramatically. The debt would go away much faster. This can handle anything that any chiropractor could ever put into it. It has unlimited capacity. Okay? Because it handles the main things. The giving is handled. The taxes are handled. How you get it across the threshold into your personal life is handled. The debt situation is handled. The little bit of savings is handled. And the investing is handled. There it is right there. That's it. See how I can draw that? See, Tori, remember now, a lot of people don't know this, but I went to college to be an architect, right? That's what I went to college for. I go to college to Montana State to be the architect. I'm in the Air Force at the same time. And think about this. I look back and I cannot believe this is real. I was going to college at Montana State and I had to drive back to the Air Force Base every 4 weeks for 6 years. All the college parties, all the big football games, and I had to leave and put a uniform on for 6 years. Unbelievable. I look back and go, oh, if I could have just been a bartender instead. Forget all that. Okay, but it served me well because I use that now. And then I ended up meeting the girl whose dad was the chiropractor, and he gave the adjustments and said, hey, you might want to think about being a chiropractor. So I finished the 6 years, and then I finished all the prereqs, and then off to chiropractic college I went. And I knew it was for me, and I knew I liked it, and I knew I really, really wanted to be good at it. But anyway, the architect thing, little did I know I'd be sitting there drawing floor plans all the time. There's really almost not a single day that goes by that I don't draw a floor plan for an office. I can see it instantly. I see the grid and I know instantly what I would do. Instantly. But I try to make people do a drawing on their own to think, and then I make sure we get it as right as we can based on their budget and what they have for available space. But when I draw a plan, I'm drawing it because for it to do something. I'm not just drawing a pretty plan. This plan will get you that right there. If you tell me what you want, I will draw you the plan. Tori, and this is what someone said about a year ago, Tori, if you were going to draw the ultimate plan to collect like over $200,000 a month for one chiropractor, what would the plan look like? And here it is. It looks just like this. And we have the plan, and most of the people in the group have seen this plan. Okay, and I could show you here what this looks like. Although really, it's one of these. See, I'm letting Winner's Edge outsiders hear the Winner's Edge secrets. Aren't I, Steve? He's laughing because Steve's going, I paid all this money for this, and you're giving it to these punks for free. I said, I know, but I'm trying to save them, right, from a future of nothingness. You get the idea? So here I am, right, the guy. Okay, here we go. All right, so there you are. And you have a diagram right now with what you have going on, but we want to make sure we make an upgrade, okay? So you see here, and you see this makes sense. And when I say these things start to go and they start to pull into themselves, it works 100% of the time, okay? Because it's just the way money flows to and through a person's life, okay? All right, now by the way, to complete the circle, here's what ends up happening. Down the road, you build up the value of this place, Craig. You're gonna get about 70% of the last 12 months collections. So if you collect $1 million, you get about 700,000. That's the deal, okay? Give or take, but that's pretty close, within a reasonable amount, okay? Okay, so watch, that's gone. That's all gone. You better have something to do with your time. You better do some hunting, do some fishing, carve ducks, okay? You fill your time? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. We don't retire from something, we retire to something, yeah. Like I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go straight to the Powerboat Club. You know what I mean? I'm just dying to get down there, right? Oh my gosh. No, I really probably will never stop what I'm doing. It'll just be how it gets done. But I'm trying to build something that will outlast me, and that's what I want you to consider also. Like you want to sit there and think, Craig, and all of you, okay, my practice, it has to outlast me. This base of people better have somebody taking care of it and their kids and grandkids until 100 years after I'm gone. Whether it's here or they move this crowd to someplace else. You want to build something that lasts forever. Like the Winner's Edge website, it'll be around way past me. Like Barge is gone, but you can go to the Barge website and buy his books. And out of respect for him, I'm going, hey, more people are hanging out on my website than they are on yours. And your books are the most important ones in chiropractic, so let me get them on mine and I'll sell them for the same thing you sell them for. You get the idea? It costs us to sell those books. Okay, we sell them for 35 bucks. They sell them to us for like 32, and it costs us 10 bucks to ship it. But we don't care. We just want people to have the books. Okay, but here we are. So now we got this, and then ideally what? Okay, we get this house paid for. So now you're sitting there just like that. So completing the circle means we make the determination on where to position what you have. And if you sit there and say, oh, I got money in this or I got money in that, well, how do you turn it into an income? I don't know. Well, you got to figure it out. Okay, because whatever money is sitting in may not be what it's in when you need to turn it into an income. Okay, and the only way to generate an income, there's two ways here. Okay. You either have to position the money in something that pays a dividend, like ideally a dividend that's monthly, okay? Like Realty Income or Dynex Capital or Pennant Park Floating Rate or Main Street Capital or Ares Capital, Horizon, companies like this that pay a monthly dividend, and you just say, okay, you put a bunch of money over there and you say, instead of reinvesting the dividend, just give it to me. There. So this could still sit in here and grow, but here you could take the dividends that it pays you every month and say, just put them right back in my account. There, now you've completed the circle and you are free, baby. Okay? Like that. That is the game you're in. That's why you went to school. That's why you work, is so you can build a money-making system so you can do whatever you want every day. That is what you're in it for. And you can arrive at this quite a bit sooner than you think, depending on when you start. Okay? The other angle is to sit there and say, okay, I can't put enough in to have it make enough dividends to survive, so I'll take and I'll sell 4% of what this is every year, and I'll put that into my life, and then, but that can still grow and reinvest some. So I'm not losing it all. So if the stock market were to grow on average 10% and I'm taking out 4, I should still be growing. It's just at a decelerated rate. But I'm still not losing the pile. You see that? We do not want to erode the pile unless we have to. The pile is our backup, okay? If we start to chip into the pile, we're going to make sure we time this out okay. Okay. So we have a couple options here. And some people could sit there and say, yeah, but I own this rental. Then fine. You could have that be a part of it. Or, oh, I'm part of my brother's trucking thing and I get a little, then fine. Whatever. You might have some other things going on, yay for you. But you have to sit there and go, how do I turn it into a monthly income? Okay? All right? It's very simple. Let's say I own a house over here. The rental money goes in there. Let's say I got the mortgage paid off, so that's gone. And say the rent's $2,500 a month. I keep $300 in the account for miscellaneous. So I take this as a $2,000 a month income. There it is. I'll have to pay tax on that, but either way, that's part of my income. Take the dividends as part of my income, and maybe I'm good. And then down the road, if I had to, I could start chipping away at what I had someplace else. Okay? All right, now just for fun, I'll reveal another sort of a cool winner's edge thing here. Tori, where does the money go? Here's what happened, just to give you an idea. And there's a whole history. There is a very interesting history of the history of money handling and the profession of chiropractic. And going back to the 80s, okay? And here's what it was. I'll be brief to bring you up to speed for those of you who don't know. Okay, way back when in the 80s and then getting into the 90s, there was the investment of choice for the chiropractors. What was it back then? Tax-free municipal bonds. And I remember exactly where I was standing, 1996. A guy handed me, I still have it, I show it on videos all the time, the Whitehall Financial Freedom tapes. I still have the cassette tapes, the green box, it's all yellow plastic now, okay? And the problem with it is all the cassettes are broken, even though I've memorized the whole thing. But I remember there, and I remember getting the monthly thing and him saying a deep impact and the stock market's overpriced and don't buy stocks and buy these bonds. But I look back now, and how good was that advice now, looking back then? It was stupid. It was the stupidest advice ever. Ever. If you would have put money in the S&P 500 index compared to buying bonds, it would look like that. I mean, it would be gargantuous, the difference. In fact, I should do that. Averaging 4.5% versus averaging 10. Do you have any idea? Over 30 years? We should go to Dr. Calculator and do that just so we can see how stupid that advice really was. Okay? And it was stupid then, and it was stupid now, and it was always stupid. Had no foresight, no vision, no understanding of history, no understanding of how society, companies, the economy, or how any of that works. No understanding of inflation, how inflation works, what causes inflation, and how we profit from inflation. Okay? And it's really too bad. And then after a while, then chiropractors started to get caught into buying what? Overfunded, high cash value, whole life insurance policies, which were the next stupidest thing of all time that you've ever heard. Okay? Now I've had all of these. I know exactly how they work. I'm high-level friends with the top people in the country that sell these things. Okay, I know the Toffelons. I could get both of them on the phone right now. Okay, and I can get Steve Parisi, probably the top high cash value life insurance guy in the United States. I can get him on the phone in 5 minutes. Okay, I know how all this stuff works, and they have to make a living, and that's fine. But they're making their living off me. Understand that? When you don't need any of them, you just need an app. Now, as soon as the websites came out and you could do it on your own, those things became horribly obsolete, even though they were already obsolete in the beginning. Okay, so here's what we have. I just want you to understand sort of the foundational winner's edge process here. What I did, as I realized how much those things sucked and how much I hated this thing, even though I'm good at math, maybe as good as anybody in chiropractic, and I could never figure out, they could never tell you what the return was. You got your interest once a year, you're paying for the premium and this and that, and how long it would take before you get ahead, and they hide it in the math because they're so smart. It's very, very interesting, okay? And they try to say, yeah, but it comes out tax-free in a loan, but yeah, but that eats up your cash value of the actual policy itself, and on and on and on and on and on, and it's all this big shell game that they use so that they can get the commission from you because the premium is their commission. Okay, enough. And then, of course, the way bonds work have to be bought at a premium, and it fluctuates, and you never quite know, and the return never seems that good. And they're manual. When they cash in, you got to manually buy more of them. It doesn't happen automatically. They don't automatically compound. There's no dividend that gets reinvested. It's a flat, linear thing. It's a debt instrument versus an equity. I'm not trying to bore you. But then here's what I did, and I might be the first chiropractor to do this that did it in a way that taught it. I'm sure a lot of people are very savvy at this and probably more savvy than I am. Is I just sat there and I thought this. Okay, here I am a chiropractor. I got significant income. I want to be able to position it. I want to have money in the future. I want to be doing okay. I want to do it well enough that maybe I could share it with some other people, because that's what I like to do. I like to learn things and share it with people. Okay, for a long time I just kept everything to myself, and then people asked me to teach, and now everything I do I try to get to other people, have them prosper. So I thought this. Steve, you know what that means, don't you? Take a stab at that.
Me?
Steve, go ahead.
What would Warren Buffett do?
What would Warren Buffett do? We have the best money handler that's not part of the cabal. See that? He's not a Rothschild, he's not a Rockefeller, he's not part of the Astor dynasty that owns all the land underneath the buildings in Manhattan. He's not one of the bloodline families that's protected, that's outside, you know, that's above the law. The laws are created by them for us, okay? But as far as regular people go, okay, he is the best money handler who ever lived in the United States, okay? Level-headed, smart, conservative, okay? Very disciplined, okay? Long-term thinker, okay? An incredible, really quite incredible. I was standing in front of his house the other day when I went down there to do that thing at Life, and I just paid the Uber guy, and I said, let me just stand here for a second. I just stood on the sidewalk, and I just stared at his house, you know, and I just tried to absorb ideas and principles, you know, into my brain. But when you study this, and I've read some hard books to read, Warren Buffett essays, you know, about recordings of his speeches from years ago and meetings and on. So as I study this, it became very, very clear. When Warren Buffett said, this is what I do for my own kids, I thought, well, I'll just be one of your kids, okay? And what is it? Number one, you have to have an account where there's like no fees. And there are really only two places like that. It's going to be Schwab and then Vanguard, and then Fidelity is kind of similar, but they're not like these, okay? All right, and I have accounts at all these, Schwab, Vanguard, SoFi, Webull, M1, okay? All these things, because I'm testing it. I'm doing quite an interesting test for the group and for my own good based on different strategies. Maybe I'll tell you what that is in a minute here if we have time. So, okay, so you got to have a place where, because you can't have any fees. These have big fees. That was the problem. Big fees, and the fees eat up your money. So you can have no fees. Okay, so we've got that down. The next thing he's going to do is this, and I just watched him do an interview last week, and he's like 95, and the lady said, so do you still recommend the index? And he says, no. It's a very specific index. It's the S&P 500 index. And he was very clear on that, the 500 top companies in the United States. Okay, so there it was. A place with no fees or little fees, like 0.02 for fees. And the foundational investment is you investing in the top 500 companies that we have to survive, okay? Toilet paper, computer chips, gasoline, Coca-Cola, you get the idea? Now here's what happens, a lot of people don't know this, okay? Most people, like poor people, think inflation is bad because it erodes the dollar and you can't buy as much. But rich people actually have no problem with inflation. In fact, many times it's actually good. Do you know why? Why is inflation good if you're rich? Because the stock market will grow more than inflation will erode your dollar. Oh, inflation is 12%. I know, but the S&P 500 grew 28%. When you do it right, there's like no way to lose. Knock on you know, you get the idea? See that? So, the foundational investment is in the companies we have to survive, because they'll continue to expand over time, because we're all going to buy them today. We're going to use Amazon within the next few days, okay? We're going to go to a gas station. We're going to get Kimberly-Clark toilet paper, okay? And on and on and on. You're going to get a bottle of water that was bottled by Coca-Cola or whatever. You see the idea? All right, so that's the foundational thing. And very few people, okay, less than like 0.4% can beat that index right there. In fact, Warren Buffett is famous for this. He had all these fancy money handlers, like these people, that charge a fee. By the way, none of these people can beat that, but they're going to charge you a fee to not beat it. Yay for you, okay? right? He makes a $1 million bet. He goes, I bet none of you people with your fancy funds and how smart you are can beat the index that any grandma can buy from a laptop at her kitchen table. And he wins and donates the $1 million to charity. Okay? Because all investing will resort to the mean. It will go toward, if you hang around a casino long enough, it's going to go toward the mean. Okay? Unless it's a game of skill, you might say, like blackjack can be. But here in the world of investing, things will resort toward the mean. So the great Jack Bogle, who doesn't know who Jack Bogle is? It's okay if you don't know. Jack Bogle founded the company, which was known today as Vanguard. He's kind of the father of the modern day index fund. He's the most likable and lovable, quote, old guy you'll ever meet. He's gone now. But he said, why look for the needle in the haystack when you can just buy the haystack and be happy? That's the haystack, right there. That's what Dave Ramsey says without telling you, because he can't tell you the actual name, but that's it right there. There's Warren Buffett, there's even Dave Ramsey, and a lot of stuff that Dave Ramsey has we could do better as small business owners, but that is the foundation. Okay, and that averages it's 10.4, okay, and it pays a little bit of a dividend, about 1.2%, and it pays it every year. Okay, so there's the foundation. If all a chiropractor ever did was automate investing their age into that, you'd be fine, and then you would turn right around, and it's easy to reverse the system. Now, what we do at Winner's Edge, because this can be very boring and we want to make it a little bit more exciting, is we do this, okay? And I'll share something with you. Okay. Now, there'll be some of you out there that think you have an idea, or you got an advisor friend, or you got an uncle or a family member, and I'm telling you, whatever you have sucks. It sucks, and you just need to admit it sucks, and you don't have control, and you really don't know how it works, you don't know what's going on, and you've been sold something. But if there's any human being connected to you and your money that gets paid even a penny, you are guaranteed to lose. Period. Because even if they take 0.5% or 1%, that'll erode like 30% of your gains over time. You can have you and your accounts, and there's no human being in between. None. 0 human beings. Because they have to get paid. And that comes from you. Okay? And they can't beat the index. So you get rid of all that. You, a website, automate it, ignore it. And we got a lot of people in the group. Carrie and Carrie, Bethany, all these people, they could care less. Like, you guys probably could give a rip about money. I don't care. I just want to practice and have fun and keep it light. Fine. You get this automated and don't look at it until you're 60 and you have a big pile of money. That's it. Okay? Just like Warren Buffett would say, you'd be better off not reading a headline, not even looking at anything. Just ignore it and just let it do its thing. Okay? Because what does he say? The key to becoming wealthy is temperament. Okay? Just got to be cool. It's going to do this, and it's going to do that, but because of the expansion of humanity. Now, by the way, here's what's happening here, just so you know. And a lot of people don't know how the system really works. Why is it that the stock market grows on an average of 10%? Well, here's why. Our money in the United States is loaned to us, okay? A private bank, which is ran by the Rothschilds, which we call the Federal Reserve, which is hilarious because it's not federal at all and there's no reserves. It's just a really good name that fools everybody, right? In fact, it's not even under the federal pages in the yellow book, in the phone book under the yellow pages. It's in the regular business pages. It's hilarious. But here's how it really works. So we have a private bank, and they loan our money to us. They print the money supply, and we borrow it from them, and we have to pay it back plus interest, which is hidden with this ambiguous term called inflation. Okay? All right? So they put $1 billion into the money supply, but they're owed 1.1 back. Okay? So that guarantees a certain amount of bankruptcies and a certain amount of foreclosures. Remember now, and so they're confiscating wealth the whole time by design. Now listen carefully. Remember, when you go to buy a house, and let's say you get $500,000 from a bank, the bank's not giving you any money. They just put a number on the screen that says, you owe us $500,000. Oh, by the way, if you don't pay for your house, we're going to take your real property, but we put up nothing. And the system guarantees a certain number of those in the confiscation of wealth. So what's actually happening here is because of the way the system is set up, that is what forces this to grow on an average of 10%. And it has from the beginning, and it will as long as we have a money supply that works the way it does. So yay for us. We can participate in that expansion. Okay? All right? Versus be a victim of it. So people are on the outside are victims of that, and people on the inside profit from it. Okay? And that's really what's going on. Okay? All right, like people will say, Bill Gates, I don't have to like the guy, okay? But I like Microsoft. I need that PowerPoint and I need that Microsoft Word, and I'm telling you, it's unbelievable, and he probably should have way more money than he has for that company, for what they've done for people. Like Tom Brady, he should have $1 trillion. Every person to even see him on TV in a uniform should have had to pay money. You know, he never got paid enough because only one guy could do what he could do. Okay? Now, he's been paid well and more than a person would ever need, but relatively speaking, for the entertainment value to how that many people over that many years, he's worth way, way, way more. And so we have to appreciate that. It's the company I appreciate. I don't have to like the guy. Like, I'm not a Tesla guy. Who the blank drives a Tesla anyway? Sorry. See, I spit all over it. That's just me. Personal opinion. Okay? But again, I don't live in California where gas is $7 a gallon. Okay? All right? But my whole point, I don't have to like these people. I don't care. It's the company and it's what they do for society, and I have no problem with that. But I want to participate in this expansion. Okay? Now, over here, to be quick, that what we recommend in this case is we have a second account because we don't want everything in one account. And here, okay, is where we would have something that's more dividend based. It's going to pay us more money right now, and it can grow. And then I might have some individual companies that I think are going to outdo the index, because when the index grows 10%, there's a handful of companies that are responsible for most of it. Can I isolate who those are and just have those here and see if I can have this account match or beat that account? And for the people that care and want to have a little bit more fun, right, Steve? It's very, very fun. But for a lot of people that don't care, they can just do that and make sure it's automated at a decent amount, check it, make sure the system is working, and you'll end up in pretty good shape. But for people a little bit more savvy, they can own a few other things. But again, all that matters is how you reverse this system, okay? When the time comes, and you got to go, how do I turn this into an income? Okay? All right, and when the time comes. And basically your choices are to put the money, a pile, in something that pays a monthly dividend and just take the monthly dividend, or you might do that with part of it, or you might have to start to sell. I'll just tell you what I'm going to do. When I get down to the road, I'm going to put a chunk of money into Realty Income and Main Street Capital and Dynex and Penn and Park floating rate that averages 6 to say 12%, and they pay a monthly dividend, and I'm going to say, give me the monthly dividend. The value will hold, the monthly dividend will go for eternity, because the dividend is paid based on how many shares you have, not on the value of the stock. Everybody understand that? I'll say that again because a lot of people don't know. If the value of a company goes down, okay, here's what a dividend is. If I own a bunch of stock in Home Depot, and Home Depot makes a bunch of money, they don't need to keep all that extra cash to build Home Depots. They're bringing in more cash than they can actually buy stuff with. So they take a bunch of the extra cash, let's say 30% of it, and they distribute it to everybody that owns shares of Home Depot. So if I own a tiny little fraction of Home Depot, I get my $422.87 dividend every 90 days. And by the way, that starts to earn dividends, so every dividend you get grows, which is unbelievably awesome. Okay? You see that? So it's your rental income for your money. See, I could buy a rental house and get rental income and hope the house goes up in value, or I could buy a bunch of companies and they're going to go up in value and I get my dividends. I'd rather just do this. I don't have to deal with that. By the way, Warren Buffett doesn't own any real estate. He'd rather just own companies because he doesn't have to ever deal with anything. And it's guaranteed to automatically reinvest and guaranteed to compound. It doesn't do anything else. It's all because I got to focus on seeing people and making money. I can't be a part-time landlord. Okay, and the chiropractors that go and sit there and try to cash flow $500 a month and they lose $15,000 a month in their practice. Way to go, genius. You know, it can't have, nothing can take my mind off what I do. Like I like crypto, and there are some very cool crypto strategies. Okay, and there's absolutely no reason why a person couldn't have an account here, okay, and buy Bitcoin every single week. Okay, I own some Bitcoin. Okay, I buy Bitcoin every week. Okay, what are the chances that Bitcoin's going to go up? Probably pretty good. I'm not hanging my life on it. This is the main thing, and then there's that. But hey, okay, if someone's right and Bitcoin goes from $100,000 to $1 million for a Bitcoin in the next 13 years, I might look back and wish I had one Bitcoin. In fact, I recommend for chiropractors you own one Bitcoin. Just get to where you own one, just so you've got something there, just cuz. Okay, 114,000 right now. Okay, just cuz. Okay. You don't have to, I'm just saying, if there was something else. And but they're all passive and they just do their thing. And then you can just focus on people and collecting and lifestyle and vacations and power boating and fun and hanging out, okay, and Playa Largo, eating French toast, watching the sunrise. Who's here been to Playa Largo? In Key Largo, Florida? No? Oh boy, I'll get you down there sooner or later. Okay? Who here has ever ridden in like a cigarette boat, like a real offshore race boat? You have. You have? Of course you have. Yeah, that's cool. Advantages, right? Having the right dad. Not all of us can have dads like Craig and Dan. Okay. All right. You guys have not ridden like a cigarette boat, like an offshore race boat? You never have? Oh, yeah. It's a cool thing, isn't it? It's just so great. Why am I not doing that right now? Why am I hanging out with you? What am I doing here? Huh? Huh? Well, because in my world, there will never be a question, what will come first? Okay? And then that. Okay? Because that's what I'm here to do. That's my mission. And that's what I'm here to do. Okay, so we want to have something workable. Every one of you starting at a certain point. Some of you have some ways to go. You got some things to install. Some of you have quite a few things piled up. And you're just going to be thinking, okay, honey, how do we turn this into an income down the road? We might do a little shuffling, and this worked and that worked, but we might want to do a little rearranging when the time comes. And what a fun problem to have. Okay, enough on that. Okay? Anybody with any questions on that or anything else? How are we doing out there in Zoom land? Oh. Okay. I don't know where all of you are at out there in Zoom land. I don't know what you're collecting per month. I don't know what your volume is. I don't know how many years you have left on a lease. I don't know if you have any money put away, what you got for student loans. I don't know where you're at if you're not in the group. I wish I did, and I wish we could put together a plan to really take it to another level. Because there's many levels, okay? And I'll just take a little bit now for fun, and I'll show you what $200,000 a month looks like, okay? Let me just give you an idea. I will show you now what we call the TR32, okay? $200,000 a month office, okay? I'll be brief, okay? And it's way beyond this, and this will actually go to $400,000 over the course of time. And Steve, it may be hard to imagine that you might break $400,000 a month before you exit the profession. And you sit there and go, yeah, that could probably happen. Yeah, that's not outrageous when we can think ahead properly. Okay, but most people can't think ahead properly. They think ahead, but they don't expand enough because they don't see this. They see this, and you should see that. Okay? It looks like this. Okay? This is going to seem easy because everything I'm going to describe here, you've already seen, you've already known. You've just never seen it assembled like this. You've never seen it put together. Okay? I've never seen it. It's like my invention. Okay, in this way, with these fees and this flow and this system and the backup plan and the backup plan and the layout and the team and the layout of the office and all of that. Okay, but it's a topic. In fact, I did a whole training on this, the $200,000 a month office. It's a 2-hour Zoom training that our people can get if they weren't able to be on live. But it would look like this. Person comes in and they go back and they jump on a decompression table. And that's for 12 minutes. Okay? And then when they're done, usually laying on their back, we're going to flip them onto their stomach, and we're going to have the CA with 2 pegs grab the genie rub. The genie rub, not the thumper, but the genie rub. And she will do a very specific pattern on the person's back. It might look like this. We start at the low back, and we go up to the neck, over, down the left side, back to the center, up the center, and then like this. All the way down, okay, and done. There it is. The exact same way, every single time, on every person, no freelancing, no adding 2 pickles to the McDonald's hamburger, okay? Otherwise you lose your franchise. So there's that. Okay, so they're down, the genie rub, then, so it's the genie rub, and then they get the stim put on, okay? And that's going to be 10 minutes, and you take a cool pack because you got the little cool fridge with the little muscle stim and the genie rub with the thing in the nice cool dark room, and you're just going to lay the cool pack over the top, the felt covered one. It's not going to be shocking. It's just going to feel nice, and it's going to feel cool, okay? So we lay on our back, and we're pulling on the spine, and of course that tension causes heat, and whatever. Then we're going to flip down, and we're going to start to bring some circulation back in. We're going to bring some muscle tone back in, and we're going to cool things off, okay? So there we go. Then we're all done. Now that module and then that module are done, like here. Okay, and then they go to here. Okay, then we're going to go over here. Actually, we'll draw it this way just for fun. Okay. Okay. This will seem so easy once I show it to you, but E equals MC squared was easy too after somebody else showed everybody. Okay, all right? Then we're going to go through the regular chiropractic loop. So that means now we're going to go to the IST, and of course on every IST, you should have the 14 by 4 to 13 Chattanooga Therotherm. So even here, you should have, because everybody's so used to being inside the air conditioning, you should have the 14 by 14 Chattanooga Therotherm set on like 109 degrees, okay? And every roller table has it automatically, everywhere, okay? Because that's the warm-up thing that people love, okay? Especially you got cool air blowing and that little bit, oof, it's incredible. So now what we do is we add mobility back into the spine, we bring the temperature back up to normal, and then we go through and of course, we do our chiro, right here, just like so. Now if, and this would be the last module that could be added on, okay? So again, that's 2 minutes, and the chiro should be 2 minutes or less, but there's a little bit of transition time in here. Then at this point, they could go and they could get a shock wave, or they could get a laser, okay? And of course, those rooms would be up here very close to the front desk, which is sitting here like this, okay? We've got a front door here, we got that like that, and we got the 3-room corridor like so, and we got the new patient paperwork area here, okay, something like that, right? Okay. CA workstation back here. Okay, just like so. Okay, and then again, that's roughly 5 minutes. So we got 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, there's 31, add another minute for fluff. That's why I call it the TR32, I call it personally. Now there's a lot that can be said here. If you want anything to be impressive, it needs to be named. Okay, that's why every car has a name. The 735 IT, you get the idea, the M3, they all have names. And so if we call it, well, this is the TR32 protocol that we've invented, and many offices around the world are beginning to adopt this technology. And it really is the absolute premium and high-performance care for high-performance people like you, Glenn. And I know I can just tell by the kind of person you are and from what you've indicated, you really want the best that we have available, and certainly this is it, okay? We've designed this exact care plan for people like yourself and for people like myself, quite frankly. There it is, okay? So there you go. So watch, that's 75. Okay, and so the Genie Rub, 35, the Stim is 50, and the Cool is 25. The IST is 35, and the Heat is, let's say, 25 again. The Chiro is 75, and here it's 100. You get the idea? So when you add all this up, it's like 450, all right? So really, to make it simple here, to show you, okay? No, people in my area won't do that. Well, you talk like that, they sure won't, okay? But I'll guarantee you there's a bunch of people around who would, okay? And if you're not friends with any of them, you know, you gotta hang around some higher performance circles. Remember now, every building you see is owned by somebody. Every business is owned by somebody. Every Taco Bell, okay, the people that own 13 of them, they're everywhere. Okay, every tall building downtown, there's all the CEOs, there's all the CFOs, there's all the high attorneys, there's all the big doctors, there's all the landowners. Every apartment complex in our apartment are owned by somebody. And they got no place to go because every chiropractor is just worried about treating poor people, okay? All right, so it looks like this. So it goes in here and you got your 24 and da-da-da-da-da. And of course, I already have the sheet for this and the fees and everything. Okay, it's $12,250, $8,400 on the prepay, or like $333.20 or something like that. There it is. So there's the 911 Turbo, okay? But if it's not fine, then we leave that, okay? We just get rid of this. Okay, we just do the regular decomp and chiro, and the last resort, of course, is just the chiro. And they could add this on at any time if they wanted to, if they had something that needed it. So in other words, now we have an office that can do it all. It can do it all. I can offer the highest performance thing for the people that want it. So now, for my exact same hours, okay, and here's the bell-shaped curve. Instead of me focusing on this, I've got plans for this, and I got plans for the people that want that. And I'll sell a percentage of those, and a lot of those, and maybe even more of those. But when you add it all up, I'm going to have a $200 collection per visit. And if I can see 300 visits a week, well, there's 60, there's 240,000 a month. Okay? And even if it's $100 a visit, and I can see 300 a week, you get the idea? You start to get somewhere. But this is way over $100 a visit where this would fall in, and how much it would lift the average up. Okay? So you see here, the difference between me and like a lot of people is when I say, hey, do this, I will show you exactly how to do it, the exact fees, the exact layout, the exact equipment, the exact timing, the exact goals, the exact money flow. like exactly, like here it is, here's how to do everything. All you have to do is just decide you want to do it, okay? And that's my responsibility to be good. Just so instead of saying, save 10%, where, how, from what, after what, and then what about this and what about that? And all of a sudden you realize that people that have told you that advice don't know anything. They might have done okay on their own, but see, you know what happens here a lot of times in chiropractic is people did well themselves, but that doesn't mean they really should be coaching anybody because it's a different skill set. See that? I'm very unique in that I was able to be successful in practice, but I'm also able to put stuff together and teach. That's what's unique about me. I can do it myself, and I can put together in a form that can teach it with the audio and the video and the book. I can do that. That's what makes me unique. A lot of people could do it, and they want to do some coaching, but they're just kind of like talking about what they do, and they don't really have a legit, comprehensive coaching program. You see that? It's a different skill set. That's why the first question you ask is, where are your books? No books? Oh my God, why would I listen to anything you say? You don't even have any books. Because if you knew anything, you'd write a book on it. Okay, right? See, I'm the guy that wrote the book. See that? You can go to people but I wrote the book. In fact, I wrote 10 books, like 3 this year. Okay, and I got to get back because I got that 300-pager I got to get done, and you're going to love it. You'll absolutely love it. In fact, that $1 million one, that's unbelievable. This guy right here, jeez. Oh my gosh, do you have any idea what this book did in my life right here? I have my original copy. But this was all dead and gone because he's gone and nobody decided to perpetuate it. I went through and redid everything, all the paragraphs, all the punctuation, corrected everything, added summaries at the end of all the chapters. Steve, have you read this one all the way through? Do you have it yet? You've got it though, it's on the pile, yeah. It's a little bit thicker and that can be deterrent. So I got to determine whether or not to, make it into a 2. But this is it right here, man, I'm telling you. And the one that came before this, it is the mother of all. It's the one where you see the concepting diagram and it's just huge. That's why I'm being so slow and careful with it. But anyway, printed material, audio material, and of course video material, and then stuff live. Okay, enough on that. Okay? I'm here to be useful, all right? And that's what I spend my time doing. How can I have useful information and package it and get it to people and have you prosper from it so I can see you do well, okay? That's the name of the game. Okay, anybody with anything? Okay, got a little time here. I'm gonna set that there. How you people doing out in Zoom land? Wayne, Tucker, good to see you. Dylan, Luis, Mark, you guys have any questions? You can go ahead and email me. If there's a question I couldn't handle for you specifically, you just call right away on Monday or so. Or get an email to us. If you have a specific question about anything, I will answer any question you have about anything. Any one of you can have a call with me and I'll do anything I can to help you on a coaching call, okay? And after that, you might want to think about being in the club, but it's always your choice, okay? Okay, I'm going to hang out now. If anybody has anything you want to talk about anything. Okay, ready? Go. Where's my H2? Look at that high quality H2O. Oh yeah, in fact the can is so cool I almost feel bad to drink it. I never thought I'd find a bottle I like better than the Voss bottle. Path. Is this the path to prosperity? I like that.
How'd you run into that?
What's that?
How'd you run into
I don't know. Who set this up? Oh, I love it. Okay, questions on anything or anybody want to see anything or talk about anything?
Question on the TR32.
Love it.
So when you have the best package, the best opportunity, and the people that take advantage of it, they sell it, you move on, you're good. How do you now make sure that for the few that don't want to take advantage of it, that you still deliver in the way that they say yes to the other opportunities?
Okay. Yeah, so there's a point there where if I make a best recommendation, if you make a best recommendation and they don't want it and I've got to back down, how do I make that next recommendation without conceding my belief of the importance of the first one? Okay, because people can be thinking this, oh yeah, see, you were just trying to sell me on the expensive thing. Yeah, you revealed that now by how you handled this when I said I didn't want it, because you didn't know what to say, and you didn't know what to wear, and you didn't know where to look when you were talking to me, so I kind of know your game now, and you'll never recover from that. So, if we have a top recommend, now by the way, this all starts, okay, as soon as I meet the person, I'm doing the exam. Because if I'm going to assess their scenario. Now, I don't want to read into people, but if a guy pulls up with a 911 Turbo, okay, and he's the vice president of Arctic Cat, okay, well, that's going to be different than somebody else who comes in and they're struggling a little bit. They came in from a free ad or something like that. You get the idea. So I'm going to be letting people know as I assess their scenario, their problem, their age, means, location. I'm going to be determining who I'm going to present what to, because I'm just not going to show whoever the one and waste my time. You get the idea? But if I know there's a high-performance person that's looking for high-performance stuff, and by the way, as you get into this, they'll refer more and you'll end up with more of these people because your website's going to change. We are a high-performance chiropractic office. We have the highest performance care plans for the men and women out there who demand excellence. We have the care plans for people that fly first class or fly private, drive high-end automobiles, live in exclusive places, take exclusive stuff, and demand high-performance fuel, high-performance exercise, and everything to have a high-performance life. We are the chiropractor for you. Okay, I'm going to put that right on there. I've had people say, Tori, does this look okay to say high performance on my website? I'm going, you got a couple roller tables and a little office in the middle of nowhere. You can't say you're high performance. That's like the people putting the spoiler on the back of the four-door Camry. I hate that. You get the idea? All these cars have spoilers and vents and, you know what I'm saying? You got to have the thing to call it the thing. But so many people want to call it something when they got nothing. That's like the trophy. They graduate from kindergarten? What is that? We call it being rewarded for a routine play. It's like a football player celebrating because he ran the ball 12 yards. You're supposed to run the ball 12 yards. You'd be like Walter Payton, just shut up and go back to the huddle. You get the idea? You're overpaid as it is, right? You're not, but some of those guys are, right? Okay, but back to the question here. We're going to be building this up, okay? Along the way with the little comments, well, our high performance care plans is really what's going to be ideal for you, but I'll be showing you that as we go along. Let me focus on you get the idea. I'm going to get to that point. But once I get to the point here where if I feel I'm going to make that recommendation, I'm going to have this other sheet of paper sitting right in there ready to go. So I'm going to have my main TR32, you might say, and then I'm just going to have my Chiro plus the decomp. Okay, that's going to be my backup. And I always know that if I had to, on the back of that, I could just have the Chiro and I could have the block of 12. See, now I have this is what's available to me. You get the idea? So I know what going in. So I'm going to determine how assertive I'm going to be. Most of the time, I'm going to be softer. Like, Bill, you're a high-performance person, so of course I'm going to show you the best care that we have available here, and that's what we're known for, and that's what people want to come in and get. And we call it, of course, the TR32 protocol. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but either way. We're going to do this, and that, and I'm going to use the formula, and this is what it is. And I will promise you on every single visit, you're going to love it. And if anything is going to get you as much better as possible, this is going to be it. If you're ready, we can get started today. Let's do it. Great, come on up with me. Tori, that sounds great, but I'm not sure if I can swing that. Okay, well, it's just my job to tell you what the best is, okay? And I am going to tell you right now, if we go and change to another plan and we don't get the results we want, I'm going to recommend some of the things that we have in here. Does that sound fair enough? Okay, but you can take it in phases if you need to. So let's go to this. We'll use our Chiro and the decomp. It's going to be 32, whatever, and it should put you in pretty good shape, okay? Let's do that. Sounds great. Follow me. See that? It's always, this is what I recommend. You want to know what the best is. It's just my job to tell you. If you want to do that, it's okay, but if it doesn't do whatever, see, I'm indicating that it won't do the same as this. Because if they think that gets the same as that, then they know, oh, great, I'm going to get the same thing for paying less. That's like people in Winner's Edge. All just do the online program, and they think they're going to get something like they would get with that. They think they're saving money. Oh, you're saving $500 a month to lose $20,000 a month or $40,000. I want chiropractors to be smarter, and I'm going to go to my grave just trying so hard to get chiropractors just to be smarter and just do what winner people do so you can win too. Versus think you're going to put in this and then get that. That's what losers do, and that's why they lose. And they stay losing, and they'll always be losers. And the number of chiropractic losers is about 8 to 1 for chiropractic winners. And I'm here for the people that want to win, and that's why we have the name we have. We want to give the winners an edge to win, okay? We want to turn losers into winners. And I hate to say it, there are losers. They're chiropractic losers. They're lazy, weak, cheap, and stupid, or a combination of all of them, okay? And it's sickening. And you may be, and I've been all of those. I've been all of those at one time. I've been all of those individually, and I'll make those mistakes again. But I've been able to conquer a lot of that and get over on the winning side, and I'm here to get people on the winning side. So if you're collecting less than $80,000 a month and you don't already have millions, okay, you need a lot of work. You need help, okay? If I'm showing you money flow and you don't have it in systems and scripting, and you need a lot of work. You got to see your need, okay? That's the first step in growing. So when we get to something like this in a high-end plan, you know what you have to have in place? That office has got to look perfect. It won't look anything like this. The lighting will be nothing like this. The colors will be nothing like this. Nothing anybody in here wears will work. It's going to have to be a different level because you're providing an experience that's $450 a visit, not 50, okay? Even though you have that available also, okay? But if you go into the Lamborghini dealer, it looks like a Lamborghini dealer. You walk in there on the floor and the cars and the glass wall, okay, and usually people are wearing really nice suits. You get the idea? It's different, and it should be different, okay? And you walk in and it's like, well, I gotta dress up just to go look at a car. You know what I mean? And but the same is true here. It doesn't cost a lot more money. It's just some little design things. We have a little more side lighting. We change a few colors, just a little cool stuff with the image. You get the idea. We just swankify it. We sharpen up the website a little bit, and we've got it. We've got it. Okay. Making a place cool doesn't cost more. It just takes good design. Like this house I just built, and this was my challenge. I have a regular rectangular box on a simple lot. That's it. The last lot I had, which by the way, there's that house, and then I had this house on the big point. I could see both oceans. It was up so high. And I had the waterfall and the indoor basketball court and the fire pit and the rock thing and this and that, okay? And all this cool stuff, right? 4 levels, okay? This doesn't have that, whatever's going on there. Over here, I had to take this rectangular box and make it cool, okay? With paint, design, ceiling heights, surfaces, textures, all of these things, and that was the challenge there. It was really kind of a fun challenge. For you, what does it mean? You have your office. It's a square box. I just got to make it cool, and I got to have plans that can accommodate it. Okay. Okay. I think that helps you a little bit, but you get some of the points there. Okay. And it wouldn't matter. It's any higher level plan, and when you're back, great to see you. Okay. Grab a book. Grab some stickers. Okay. I don't want to haul them back with me. They're heavy. Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody with anything else? So glad you brought that up, okay? One reason I'm doing this, see, and again, Steve will attest, is if I get people thinking 200,000, hearing 200,000, it'll just start to go that way. See that? So I'm doing it now, and I know 5, 6, 7, 8 years, we'll look around the room, it'll be 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. That's just what's gonna happen. And we'll look back and I'll say to Steve, remember that? We did that thing down at Craig's office? Okay, nobody in the group had 200. I said, now look around. And you'll say, yep, and I'll see the time it takes. It doesn't just happen like, I think we'll do 200. You got it. I'm starting it now because it's time to start it and it's due. And we got the capability of all the people in here to do it, okay? It's right there. It's gonna happen right now, okay? And we got people, I mean, they're racing to this. Cliff and Christie's new office, Levi's new office, okay? Chase O'Keefe's new office. I'm telling you, it is a race, okay?
On that, kind of this question, feedback on that. It wouldn't be like every person walks in, oh, you're trying to sell that big plan.
Oh, no.
It's almost
No,
like,
no,
well,
no.
There's only a percentage of people
That's
who
right.
want to get that percentage in, but the majority aren't going to be on that.
Of course not. Here's what you got. Of course not. Let's just take a look at this way. There's the ultimate plan, and then there's maybe the sort of like say the Chiro and decomp thing. Okay, and then we have the regular Chiro. So we know that there's going to be a percentage that are going to do the higher end plan. What I have to do here is I have to have an office that has a square footage, and I get the equipment, so I get into this, and I get the cost, and I get it paid for. Okay, and the tables aren't that expensive. I can get them paid for. I can get the initial cost to get this set up. Then my only ongoing cost is, well, I've got to pay for a space this big instead of that big, so I've got to pay that. Okay, additional space isn't that much. That's just going to be a few thousand a month. That's okay. And I'm going to have okay, another CA or two, let's say. So I'm going to look at what's it going to cost me to offer that. Now I know, okay, I don't have to sell too many of those to put me in the plus. I did 5 of those a month. Are you kidding me? Okay, well that's 40,000. And I'm only paying another 10,000 a month to offer it. See that? So I'm in the clear for 360 a year. Probably more, actually. Okay? Okay, you get the idea? So, if I can get it, and this is where people do it wrong, like they get the wrong shockwave machine, they get a $100,000 machine. Well, it's going to take, they're going to take 2 years to pay it off. There's no way to get ahead. It's such a loser. Good machine, mathematically a loser. In the chiropractic office. Big, huge medical PT, collect 1.2 million a month in some orthopedic place, fine. But for us, no way. We got to be able to pay 17,000 and done. There, now I don't feel so bad. I can do 5 or 10 a week and come out ahead. We got to make it, we got to have a big margin. Everything Winner's Edge does, I'm going to see to it that you pay this and this is what you can get. A big room for error. Hey, nice to see you. Okay. You see that? So, since I got into it right, okay, and I got this stuff in there, and like everything's paid for pretty quickly, if not right away, I'm going, well, it's all gravy from here on out. You get the idea? So then now, okay, as I start to shift the office itself, my website is going to go, have a little more high performance talk. There can even be a name change, like you've heard me say, okay? Concierge chiropractic, white glove chiropractic, luxury chiropractic, high performance chiropractic and wellness. You get the idea? Any velvet chiro. I can make up a bunch of names. You get the idea? That indicate something like this. I might even have a color change. What are rich colors? Just guess what the colors that are associated with wealth are. Green. What is okay, if you have a Jaguar, what would be the wealthy paint color and interior combination for a Jaguar? It's going to be the green with the tan interior. That's what it's going to be. Get the idea? That's like the, you know what I mean? And then the Ferrari is the red with the tan, by the way. Rolex, green. Bentley, green. See that? They're like literally the color of money. So, and then you got McDonald's, red, yellow. See that? Different colors. Colors mean things in the mind because we've been programmed to believe certain things. So I may even have a little bit of rebranding, okay? Name, colors, the inside of the place. It doesn't have to be, but I'm just telling you if you really want to go all out, and I mean leave nothing to chance, okay? All right, like if you could just do it all from scratch. Like this house of mine, I did every single thing I thought I could. It's every brain cell that I had, from the railings to the ceiling heights to the paint colors to the garage walls, to the garage floor, to my front lily pad steps that I made. You know what I mean? It's whatever I can think of. And if I applied that here, it might incorporate some of those things. But again, a percentage will do this, but we're going to start to, once we have it, we're going to start to lean and start to cater to this. I'm going to do a promotional mailing to every house in the area that has an income of $500,000 or more. Get the idea? And it's only going to be, oh, okay, let's say it's 922 houses within this radius of my office. Oh, 922, my God, I can mail to that every month for $500. Kidding me? Postcard every month. Okay? Okay? Are you a high performance person looking for the best in care? Are you the kind of person that blah, 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 we have this and that, and da, 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 da. And the first visit, it's absolutely free to show you why we are the office for you. You get the idea? The next thing you know, you get 1, 2, 3, and then they send their friends in, and it's over. You're off to the races at that point. Okay? Just to give you an idea. Okay? You have to start to think and cater to that. All right? Okay? You have to market to that, because they're there. Okay? If I got something like that in the mail, I would go, thank God Almighty, finally, someone cares about me, so I don't have to go and hang around all the ants all the time every time I want to do something. It drives me nuts. You know what drives me nuts? Fort Lauderdale Airport, there's no line for the first class. You know how much that bothers me? It drives me nuts. I have Clear too and whatever else, but it just bothers me. There's no first class line here. It just drives me nuts, okay? But what I'm getting at is I'm illustrating a point that people that are doing well, they want and expect things to be exclusive, and they want to brag about it. Well, I go here. I go to City View Chiropractic. They're really the only real high-performance chiropractic office in the area. They're expensive, but it's something. You really should go check it out. That's what I want people saying. Like Lamborghini, you don't see any ads. They don't have to advertise. It's a Lamborghini, okay? And if you ever sat in one, okay, it's something. And if you've ever sat in a cigarette boat, which is the Lamborghini on the water, okay, you know you're sitting in something, okay? And they don't have to advertise. You just look at the thing and you know something's going on there. So you want to have an office and have a reputation that tries to speak for you also. Okay, that was great. I'm glad you brought that up. Anybody with anything else? All right? You good out there in Zoom land? We're just hanging out, handling a couple quick questions here that people might have about anything, okay? Anybody with anything? All right? Hello there, it's so nice to see you. So nice to see you. All right? Anything? System? Procedure? Money? That's fine, of course.
Thank you very much, Tori.
My pleasure. Bring it in. Excited for you. Man, what a big year coming up for you. And for you, don't even say it. Bring it in. You guys drive down, yes?
Yes.
Couple hours?
2.5.
Oh, that's not bad. Nice little drive. Get out of here before the traffic hits you. All right?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, great. Rock on. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up here, you guys. I'm going to shut the Zoom down. Anything you need, anybody who was on this, if you have any question, okay, you're more than welcome to get a hold of us. I'll be happy to have a coaching call, help you any way I can specifically. Okay, great job, guys. Rock on.